It all started with cricket, actually. Cricketers had been wearing shin pads since the 1700s. They'd been introduced not for leg protection, but instead to give batters a strategic advantage. The idea was that batters could put their leg pads in front of the wicket if they missed the ball, preventing them from being bowled out. Obviously, that all changed when the LBW rule came in, but that was the theory behind them. It was thanks to this guy that shin protection made its way over to football. Meet Samuel Widdowson. He was a cricketer and a footballer. He played for Nottingham Forest back in the late 1800s, and he wanted a way to protect his legs from nasty tackles. Apparently, he'd broken his leg in a match against Sheffield United in 1874 and wanted to stop it from happening again. Naturally, his mind drifted to his other favourite sport, where players had been wearing these pads. Story goes, Widdowson cut up his cricket pads, sewed them into his socks and popped them on before taking to the footy pitch. Ta-da! Shin pads. Like all great genius inventors, everyone took the mickey at first. To be fair, he probably looked quite stupid running around with these on. But it's thought his whole Nottingham Forest team then began wearing them from 1887, and the first known use of them in a match was in 1894, in a match between Newcastle and the then Woolwich Arsenal. Eventually, FIFA clocked on that this protection was pretty important for footballers. Multiple studies have shown wearing shin pads clearly reduces the risk of players getting lower leg injuries. And so in 1990, basically 100 years after Widdowson first put them on, shin pads were made compulsory. It became a part of Law 4 of IFAB. That's the body responsible for setting the laws of the game internationally. But the law doesn't actually specify anything about measurements of shin pads. It just says pads must be made of a suitable material and be of an appropriate size to provide reasonable protection. It's really vague, and players can get away with a lot. A lot of grassroots clubs are choosing to ban micro shin pads for obvious reasons, though, especially after a 15-year-old player from Penistone Church broke his leg while wearing them. Still no change from IFAB, though. That's why Grealish and co can still get away with these ones, which are no bigger than a credit card and which seem to offer little to no protection whatsoever.
Good evening, this is Transfer Insiders on talkSPORT. I'm Olly Clink, great to have you with us. What a treat tonight. I'm alongside the brilliant Joel Beya, Arsenal fan and elite podcaster. We've got plenty on the way for you. Coming up, I'm a bit nervous because we're going to get the latest on Bruno Guimaraes, the Newcastle United captain. He's linked up with his teammates for pre-season and a formal Arsenal bid has been rejected. But could that deal still get over the line? And is it a needle mover for Arsenal's season? 03717223344. We'll get stuck into that. We'll also chat about Manchester United. Has their summer been a bit underwhelming so far? What further business should they be doing now that they're back in the Champions League? All of that, plus we'll talk about Chelsea signing pensioners and West Ham's potential new investors. Plenty more alongside that too. This is Transfer Insiders on talkSPORT. Mr. Joel Beya, how are you doing, sir?
Oh, man, I'm feeling great, man. I didn't know that I was on with you today. And when I saw your name, the excitement came, man. And obviously, you know, we've got some big signings happening as well. So let's enjoy the show, really.
Yeah, I love that. And you've been away, I think you were saying? You've been
Yeah. So I was in Cyprus. I came back specifically for this show.
Just for me?
I said, I'm not missing this. Came back and honestly, I don't regret the decision at all.
Got an earlier flight back. I love that. No, that just...
I'm off tomorrow morning, mate. I'm off tomorrow morning.
Oh, I love that. Whereabouts were you in Cyprus?
I was in Larnaca?
Larnaca.
That's how you say it. And I was in Larnaca and it was absolutely brilliant. Tomorrow, though, I'm off to Verona.
Oh, look at that.
Yeah,
very romantic little trip out to Verona.
Yeah, there with the missus and my little one as well. So I told you I just came back just for you, mate.
Oh, fantastic. Oh, wow, that's brilliant. Cyprus, brilliant, by the way.
I know, it's nice.
Oh, very nice. You look very refreshed.
Thank you so much, man. Like, hopefully I stay this way with the Vinny news.
Oh, wait, this is a man who supports the Premier League champions, that's for sure.
Exactly.
I probably look the opposite, as I'm a Newcastle United fan.
Yes.
And this summer so far has been pretty stressful. Now, we've had the news that Newcastle have rejected Arsenal's opening formal bid for Bruno Guimaraes. He's also, Bruno, arrived in Spain to report to pre-season training. But, I mean, for me, it doesn't probably tell the whole story. My heart is in my mouth. Because I think, especially, Joel, the way that this transfer has been reported, it's kind of felt unique in a lot of ways. There's been a lot of talk about verbal bids, and it feels like Bruno's intermediaries have got involved and tried to push that message out. Newcastle the whole time have been pretty firm and said that that he's not for sale unless it's an irrational price, and they've denied that any bid has taken place. So as a fan, when it's your captain involved with the Stars they've already lost this summer, it's been a difficult one to kind of track. We are going to get the latest on all of it from Ben Jacobs in just a moment. But from an Arsenal perspective, how excited would you be to get this one over the line?
For me, very key. Having Declan Rice playing 65 games a season, for me, it has to stop. When you have if you got Guimaraes in your midfield, then you're looking at I would say a VIP type midfield right there. You got the likes of Marvin Lewis-Skelly. Obviously, Norgar's going to be leaving, but then you've got Declan Rice, you've got Guimaraes, you've got Odegaard, you've got Eze. For me, that's the best in the Premier League for me. Absolutely, no doubt. And am I worried just because a bid's been rejected? Absolutely not. I think it's part of the process. I think Arsenal are going to bide their time when it comes to the transfers. We're not knee-jerk like some of these other clubs. I want to start taking shots, which I'm probably going to start doing as the show goes on. We've got a lot of time today.
You've got 3 hours.
I've got 3 hours. I'm trying to go in light before I switch off all the.
Nah, two-footed, mate. Go in. Go on.
We're not spending 130 million pound on players, that have never played in the Champions League before. Put it that way. You just come out of 115 charges and you're out there. I mean, anyway, it's a long show. At the same time, Look, I speak to people here and there, good sources. The best thing I can say is that I know for a fact we're not going to rush. The window doesn't close until the beginning of September, end of August, beginning of September. We've got a lot of time to make decisions. And on top of that, we're not like other teams who desperately have to strengthen and anyone's better than their current team. If somebody comes into our team, they have to be the right personnel, the right players on the pitch, and they have to fit the vision of Arsenal Football Club. We haven't spent 7-8 years building this squad for anyone to come in and for it to be some kind of joke. So the likes of Bruno, great attitude. He can play, Mikel likes him versatile. He can play as a 6, he can play as an 8. He can play as a 10 if you really want him to as well.
His creativity is very underrated, Joel.
Exactly. And we all know what it gets like. When you're Arsenal Football Club, you're in every single competition, guys. Just to remind everybody, we only, didn't play 2 games out of the possible. All of the games that you could have played last season, we only didn't play 2 games. What games were they? Do you know?
It would be the League Cup final. Oh no, you played that.
You're wrong. You're wrong. Don't worry, Ollie. I'll correct.
Go on. Yeah, go on.
Semi-final of the FA Cup
and
the final of the FA Cup.
Yeah, cool.
Okay. So that means that even if you've got 2 10s, Eze and Odegaard and how great they are, sometimes you need more players. And more options gives us more chance of not only retaining the Premier League, but winning the Champions League.
But how much should Arsenal pay for Bruno Guimaraes? He's going to be turning 29. The moment some of the fees banning about something like 75 million, I cannot see Newcastle selling for that much. I just can't. So how much would be too much for you when it comes to Arsenal maybe signing Bruno?
talkSPORT listeners, there's 3 points to this. First point, it's not my money, so I don't care. Secondly, it's not my money and I don't care. Thirdly, though, to answer your question, it's going to be around the 80, 85 million mark because that's the going rate at the moment. So that's why I'm not worried that the bid's been rejected. It's been rejected at around, I'm being very candid here, you're looking at around 70, 75 mil. It's been rejected, it's fine. But in today's football, what is 85, 90 mil?
But Newcastle have been quite strong in saying that they want an irrational fee for this. And the other thing is that because they've sold Tonali, because they've sold Gordon, remember Tonali was 100 million, by the way. Gordon, a very good fee too, with 70 million. Newcastle aren't in a position where they have to sell Bruno in order to raise the funds, which means they can probably try and hold out for as much as they want. They could potentially push this deal as long as they want.
Newcastle don't want to play too many games. I mean, I just think they're in a team where they want to settle their squad down as quickly as possible. New manager comes in. He's going to want to, they're not going to want to overshadow as well the new manager with all of this stuff going on. I think they're going to want to get this done pretty quickly.
Does Bruno feel like a needle mover for you, for Arsenal, heading into the new season?
100%. Because like I said, there's not many players that can come in at Arsenal Football Club and be as equally as good as what we have or better. And that's a player that he's really up there, isn't he?
Would you expect for the most of the season it to be Rice and Bruno then in midfield? That would be the starting two for Arsenal? Or do you see him as kind of someone to take the pressure off Declan Rice?
It's tough because it depends on where we are as a club at the moment. It's really tough. He's not Norgard, is he?
No, not at all. And it's an interesting point, that, isn't it? This guy is going to want to play.
You've just spent 60-something mil on Eze. Odegaard's the captain.
Yeah,
these are good problems to have.
Yeah, big headaches though for Mikel Arteta. But like you say, could be a big old signing this for Arsenal. I mean, look, he's reported to training. I think there's an element here with Bruno where obviously he doesn't want it to end up being an Isak situation. Yes. There'll certainly be though Newcastle fans that are frustrated by this, given that he is the captain. We'd like to hear from you too. 03717 22 33 44, and from Arsenal fans as well. Is this a needle mover? And how much is too much for Bruno Guimaraes too? Give us a text on that. 81089. Plenty else we need to chat about. Chelsea signing Dad's Army. Joel, what's going on? They're getting Welbeck. They're getting Jordan Henderson. He's been announced today. What do you make of those?
Unk FC. My goodness.
Yeah, wow.
But do you know what? I don't like Chelsea.
Right.
I barely like Jason Cundy. But I understand it. I really do. If I'm to take off the rival hat, they've needed guidance, man. It's been a youth club at that place. It really has. It's been wild, like, honestly. And it's also sad because I've got quite a lot of friends who support Chelsea and they don't recognise their club in a sense where I remember I was the other night I was watching a pod with John Terry and Stuart Pearce actually. And it was a good one, man. I was just enjoying it. So
Pearcey's great, mate.
Honestly,
talkSPORT's very own
leadership
legend.
And then you go, where is that? I mean, the greatest leader they have right now was Enzo.
Yeah, come on.
And then maybe Cole Palmer. I mean,
but now it's going to be Jordan Henderson. You saw the way that those lads in the England camp spoke about Henderson, and that interview with Jude Bellingham and Morgan Rogers springs to mind, where they were saying, he's in everyone's top 5 in terms of people they want to be in this camp, and that shows the influence that he has. I think Welbeck as well. What a consummate pro he is, by the way.
Honestly, doesn't even have to speak, innit?
And this is a guy who scored 13 goals last season in the Premier League for Brighton.
You can still take your spot.
Yeah, he's linked up with João Pedro on a number of occasions, whether it's been at Watford or at Brighton. So yeah, I think that's a very good signing, some smart business and a lack of European football. So we'll chat about that a bit later on. We'll talk about the title race. We're going to touch on Manchester United too. So lots on the way for you in just a moment now here on Transfer Insiders on talkSPORT. We'll get an update from Ben Jacobs. Please tell me, Ben, that Bruno's staying, because I'm nervous.
It's an amazing story, actually. It's almost a forgotten man. This is about Mykhailo Mudryk, who has been allowed to come back to football immediately for Chelsea. So you'll remember that this is a man who had a 4-year ban handed down to him for breaching anti-doping rules. He's not played since November 2024 after what was described as an adverse finding of meldonium, which is a banned substance in his system. He appealed against that sentence to the Court of Arbitration for Sport, who have today said that because he accepted breaking anti-doping rules, they have agreed that the time served already is enough of a punishment. So Mykhailo Mudryk is available to play for Chelsea with immediate effect.
Can he even still play football? Is he good enough? He's not played football for 3 years.
Nearly 2 years. Well, Chelsea have released quite a long statement today, obviously welcoming the decision. They've talked about what a difficult period of time it has been for Mykhailo Mudryk. And I think this is the important paragraph here in the statement. We welcome the acknowledgement that advanced
This is Transfer Insiders here on talkSPORT with me, Olly Clink. I'm alongside Joel Beya this evening. Can you believe, Joel, football's already back? Mate. It's already back. The Scottish Premiership's underway.
Did it even ever leave?
Yeah.
That's the question.
You're fresh back for your holiday, mate.
I'm not even fresh.
Started, mate.
I'm not even fresh from it. I'm just back. You know?
Anyway, it's already got underway this weekend and there's more action tonight. Celtic, the champions, taking on Dundee. We can get some team news now from John Dunn.
Celtic's record-breaking 56th title was won in the most dramatic of circumstances with that last-day triumph over Hearts here at Parkhead back in May. A summer of departures for Martin O'Neill, with a total of 14 players leaving the champions, including Daisen Maeda, who has joined Ipswich. Only 2 players incoming, but they both start tonight. Record signing Casper, who has created a buzz. That's after he scored 5 goals in 12 Champions League appearances for Bodo Glimt last season. Camilo Duran has joined from Karabakh. He scored 5 in 10 Champions League games last season. Cameron Carter-Vickers makes his first start since October after recovering from a long-term injury. Dundee season is up and running, having been unbeaten in their 4 League Cup group stage games. They've won 3 of them and scored 13. League debuts tonight for new recruits Owen Goodman, Ryan Finnegan, Owen Bevan and Idris Oduteo. Stephen Presley losing 11 players during the close season. 1950, the last time Celtic lost an opening home game of a league campaign. Parkhead is preparing for Celtic and Dundee.
John, thanks very much indeed. We'll keep you across that game throughout the evening. Joel, we're going to get an update on Bruno very shortly, but I just want to chat about Newcastle a bit because it's been some summer, really, a lot of change. Eddie Howe has announced that he's leaving the club, of course. Matthias Geisler looks like the guy who's going to replace him. He's currently the manager of Al Ahly, but this one looks very close indeed. It's almost a certainty that he's going to be coming in to take charge. And look, I'll be honest, obviously the Eddie Howe news, the timing wasn't perfect. There was a lot of talk about the fact that he told the club some weeks before that he did want to move on, and they asked him essentially to stay on until they found this replacement. But I've got to be honest, I'm starting to just look at it as a positive change now. You know, it's the end of an era, it's the end of a cycle. Yes, it's a bit concerning that you're losing these star players. It's slightly concerning that you're signing a lot of unproven talent. I do get that, but at least it's going to be something different. And I think people do forget that it had become quite stale by the end of last season. That there'd be a lot of fans, I think, that might have suggested that Eddie Howe could have lost his job after they lost that game to Sunderland at home because the second half performance was so poor. I think, you know, when you look at the frustrations that fans had with Eddie Howe, it was to do with his tactics at the time and maybe not being flexible enough, playing some players out of position. You know, Nick Voltemade was put back into midfield. So there's an element of me, and maybe I'm just trying to convince myself here, that is quite excited about a new man coming in and potentially what he can do with the new signings. And throughout that entire little speech there, you were just looking at me and grinning. Don't you agree?
Yeah, well, you know, I think HR is giving you a therapist.
Really?
Yeah, I think that's what it is.
It's you, mate.
Because I think
I was just unloading
Newcastle
my feelings.
Fans, I think Newcastle fans, you guys will forever love him. I really do.
Yeah, of course.
He's brought you guys the League Cup.
I thank Eddie Howe massively.
Yeah,
by the way.
he is.
Yeah.
And yeah, sometimes it's not great, but I don't think you would have wanted to get rid of him for this new fella and the way it's happened.
Mm.
I think if someone had said to you, I don't even know if, I don't know, like, obviously at one point Jose was linked and, whatever, like, I don't know if this is how you would have wanted it to end.
It's a huge unknown. You are correct, but I mean, he does come pretty highly rated, and also, he's kind of from the Ralph Rangnick school of.
And look how that worked out at Man United.
But from that kind of school, and it will carry on a bit of what Eddie Howe was doing at the club too. So
it's different, mate. It's not the same.
Yeah,
it's not, is it?
But I get the feeling that for Eddie Howe, he was there probably thinking it was the right time for him to go, and the club were probably thinking the same thing.
It was coming, really. If it wasn't,
5 years is a long time for a manager, unless you're a Pep, unless you're a
5 years
done well, a long time.
I mean, we all thought he was going to leave once the takeover happened.
Yeah,
and he really showed his skill sets. And to be honest, I thought it could have been end a lot last season or something like that. So he's done really well. I think he's proved himself to be like a really highly rated English Premier League manager. I don't think he's going to be on the sidelines for too long. What does this mean for Newcastle? No idea. I honestly, I really don't know. And I like Newcastle. I think as a club, you guys are fantastic. Massive fan base, young fan base, football city. So let's see what happens.
Yeah, 03717223344. If you are a Newcastle fan, are you with me? You're trying to put a positive spin on all of this, or are you very worried for the start of this season, especially if Bruno also goes out the door? They have brought in a new goalkeeper, Joel, which I am pleased about. Lucas Hornacek has come in from Braga. He's done his announcement little video. When the players do a few questions and stuff. Do you know what his nickname is usually?
What is it?
Just Horny, mate.
Horny.
Yeah. That's because it's his name. Do you know what I mean?
Oh my goodness! So when I see people call David Ornstein that in the comments, horny, it makes me laugh. But he's actually legitimately,
he's allowed
legitimately and horny.
Yeah,
that's 26 million for him, isn't it?
Yeah,
from Braga.
Yeah. So
I mean, what is 26 million nowadays?
Well, that's the thing, isn't it? I mean, he's a 24-year-old goalkeeper, he's 6'6", and the thing is, they had to. I'm going to assume he is going to come in as the number one, because Nick Pope, I think ever since he had his dislocated shoulder injury, just hasn't been the same goalkeeper. Struggled last season, a lot of mistakes. And so they did need to address that situation. The strange thing is, obviously, people might point to the fact that James Trafford, who Newcastle seemed to be following for about 3 years or so, has ended up going to Leeds. But look, if they found their new target and brought him in, then we'll kind of see what happens. The other thing, and the other challenge, I think, for Joisler coming in, Joel, is to try and get the best out of some of those signings from last summer that just didn't hit the ground running. All right, Voltemade had started with 7 goals, but then dropped off quite a fair bit. Johan Wissa I was expecting a lot more from too. And then Anthony Elanga would be the other one that I'd pick out, where if Joisler can get them going, then it could look like a different kind of attack. I know obviously Johan Wissa is someone that you've spoken to.
Yes.
Just coming up to the end of last season.
Yeah.
What did you kind of gather from that conversation about how he's found his time at Newcastle?
He desperately wants to do well. He repeated this. His quotes were, I'm a soldier, I'm a fighter. I want to make sure that I'm fighting. He kept telling me. I could tell at the time that he was probably a little bit low on confidence, I have to say. And rightfully so, because his knee was, bothering him quite a lot. I think it was his knee, was it?
Yeah, it was, yeah. He injured it on international duty quite early on, yeah.
And he was saying, should he have taken some time off or gone for it straight away? With his mentality and the way he believes, he should approach situations, he goes, he should have given it his best go, and he did. And I'm hoping for his sake, really nice fella, I'm really hoping that he gets the rest time that he deserves, and that he's able to come back and show the people of Newcastle. So funny, because he literally said the same words what I'm saying here. Like, he wants to, really wants to get the rest and show the people of Newcastle what he can really do. I think this is a lifeline for him, if I'm honest with you. I think with a new manager coming in, fresh slate, it just didn't make sense at the end how Eddie Howe was using him. I remember the game against Crystal Palace. I don't know if it was a draw or if you lost, but do you remember at Selhurst Park? And he came on at like the 91st minute, and I just thought, what?
We lost, by the way.
Yeah, you lost. I thought, what are you doing? Obviously, it didn't. He didn't help the situation after the Sunderland game and the tweets. And you have to be really honest. But and again, chances should have scored. I remember against Arsenal, he had a fantastic chance that skied. you know. But then at the same time, you see him for Congo, 3 goals.
Yeah, he had a good World Cup. Yeah,
Great World Cup.
You're right, he looked like a different player. It looked like the confidence was kind of coursing through him. So, so hopefully they can get that version of Wissa. Yeah. The other player I'm quite excited about, to be honest, again, is Will Asula, though. You know, had a decent campaign. By the end, he was the starting number 9.
Yeah.
And it feels to me as if, you know, if it is going to be this high tempo, high pressing football that the new manager's going to bring in, you know, there's a bit of work still to do there, I think, with Asula. But we saw his talent. And if you want a player for that kind of role, it's definitely him.
He's class, isn't he? He really is good. And I was speaking with you and our producer outside. Massive shout out to producer Connor. And I said, I didn't know he came from, like, he was at United.
Yeah, as a youngster, very youngster. Yeah.
Youngster was like, what, United just chucking away talent like that?
Yeah.
What's going on?
So he can curl one in, mate, past them.
I couldn't believe it. Very quick. Very, very fast. I mean, but you know what? I'm going to switch it around to you. You're talking about the players that, you know, he has to work with, the new manager. What about the players he has to deal with that are leaving or that have gone? Tonali, 100 million out the door. Anthony Gordon. How do you replace them?
This is the thing. They definitely need to still be quite active for the rest of the window. And it's funny, we're going to talk to Ben Jacobs in just a moment, but he's been saying that there could be a busy end to this window for Newcastle, given what they can spend, because they've brought in so much money during this window. Could be more if Bruno's set to leave too. And look, right now it isn't, you know, that squad does need some work. Of course it does. It needs a bit more experience, etc. But there's still a bit of time to go until this window. And what the club may have been doing is just wait until this new man can come in, maybe have a bit of a say about the players that are coming in the door. All right, you could argue the timing's wrong and they've left it a bit late, but at the same time, there's still time in this window, mate.
Hoping, mate. When I say there's time for Arsenal, it's different because we're only looking for 1 or 2 players.
Right.
We're probably not going to get another starting striker. We're not. We're going to get a left winger, a midfielder in Guimaraes, and maybe a defender because Mikel loves a customary defender every year. But with you guys, I'm looking at the list of players and I'm going, ooh, you got a lot of patching up to do.
The midfield needs patching up. Maybe they need another winger potentially. Other than that, mate, I'm not that worried about it. Backline's all right.
You should be.
Maybe another centre back.
You could be in a relegation battle next season.
No, come on.
Just above. You could be doing what Spurs are doing. You know, when you just float like 17th.
Yeah. No, and there's no chance of that, mate. I firstly don't think the 3 promoted sides this is going to be a tough season for them, I think. And people are acting like just because they've lost a few big stars, that the rest of the Newcastle squad isn't decent. It doesn't have some quality in there. It does. And I'm not worried that it would be that much of a crisis that they'd end up battling against relegation. Did you notice how confident I sounded when I said that?
Nah, it sounded very low. I think it's something that you'd never thought of, but I've just brought it to light.
I know, I've seen us get relegated, mate, don't worry. It's always on my mind.
I mean, honestly, players injury prone as well.
Yeah.
You know?
03717223344. If you are a Newcastle fan, you are worried about relegation, you need a bit of therapy, come on and join us and I'll turn it around for you, give a positive spin, because Joel isn't buying any of it. We'll find out in just a moment if this Arsenal are going to end up buying Bruno Guimaraes. That's coming next here on Transfer Insiders on talkSPORT.
A very quick call on Trent Alexander-Arnold. Oliver is a Liverpool fan. Morning, Oliver.
Morning, how you doing, lad? You all right?
Yeah.
All right, Oliver.
Yeah. Would you like to see Trent back?
Good. I'd absolutely love to see Trent back. I think Mo Salah missed him very much last season. Obviously, Salah had a pretty poor season last season, but when he come back with Real Madrid, it was very frosty, and I think the damage is being done, to be honest with you, but I would love to see him back in a Liverpool shirt, yeah.
Look, there's no doubt. Nobody can doubt his quality. on the ball, he's as good as anything, anywhere.
He was winning games from right back. I mean, obviously the Barcelona game in 2019, that cross, and then I think he was very, very important when we won the league with Slot as well. So much quality, from right back.
No doubt about it.
Yeah, brilliant. I think a lot of Liverpool fans would share that view. They'd all love to see Trent back. Oliver, thanks very much indeed.
Maybe Jeff as well. Thanks, Oliver. You wonder though whether the player, having not really done it at Real Madrid, would want to sort of maybe at least stick around for another 6 months to see exactly where.
When you think about famous F1 circuits, the likes of Silverstone, Monza, Monaco come to mind. One of these is not like the others though. Monaco is just one of a number of street circuits on the calendar, and that number's only set to rise. There's a clear difference between a traditional circuit and a street circuit. One is a purpose-built facility on private land, the other is, as it sounds, a race through the streets of a major city. Monaco is the famous example, twisting and turning through the streets of the Principality with iconic backgrounds and, let's be honest, not a lot of overtaking. But from 2026, there'll be a record 10 street circuits on the calendar. It proves that cash remains king. Each track promoter gives F1 between $20 and $60 million just for the rights to host an F1 race. And when Saudi Arabia pays upwards of $100 million, you can see why it's an attractive prospect for the sport. But is it all positive? Well, the drivers aren't that bothered. If you ask a majority of them, they'll tell you historic circuits at Silverstone, Spa, Monza, Zandvoort, they're the favourites. For the sports organisers, though, it kind of makes sense. In 2025, Monaco had a record 2.3 million strong viewership in the US alone. Meanwhile, for the British Grand Prix several weeks later, 1.5 million tuned in. So while these races may not be rip-roaring, all-out action, thrill rides we want as race fans, people are tuning in even more, and bosses can demand even more cash.
This is Transfer Insiders here on talkSPORT with me, Olly Clink. Very good evening. I'm alongside Joel Beya. Right, we need to get an update, though. We need to put me out of my misery. I need to know what's going on with Bruno Guimaraes because he's been meeting up with all the Newcastle players out in Spain for pre-season, but there is still the potential transfer to Arsenal on the cards. A man in the know, of course, is talkSPORT reporter Ben Jacobs, who joins us now. Ben, how you doing?
Good evening. I'm good. You?
I'm nervous, mate, as you can imagine. Come on, then. What's the latest with Bruno Guimaraes and where all of this is?
Yeah, I mean, you can't be any more nervous than Joel Beya praying for his Bruno Guimaraes, his Vinny Jr. and his Julian Alvarez. Are you even allowed to do a show together, given that it's a Newcastle to Arsenal transfer?
Oh, mate, it's all happening. It's all allowed in my books, mate. I'm all good.
So, look, Bruno Guimaraes, Newcastle perspective, they've rejected a formal offer below their valuation. Arsenal's perspective, they're finalising this deal. So when we report it, it's naturally quite sensitive. My understanding is that talks are advanced. Optically, from Newcastle's perspective, it's great to have Bruno Guimaraes back with them in La Manga in Spain, because this is not an Alexander Isak situation. The player has never refused to train or be there, but he did delay his travel, and one of the reasons why is because, again, this deal is close. Newcastle United fans might not like to hear it, but that's the reality according to our information on talkSPORT. And I sense this is going to get done and get agreed relatively quickly now, and Arsenal may have to, of course, make one more formal bid or just finesse the one that's already on the table. There's ways of rejecting a bid out of hand with no encouragement or engagement, or alternatively saying it's not quite there but you're not far off. And according to my information, it's more the latter than the former. And I still fully expect Bruno Guimaraes to be an Arsenal player, and sooner rather than later. And I don't think that would be a terrible thing, because within Newcastle, as much as they say they want to keep there's a price at which they'll sell. And the sooner this gets resolved, the sooner they can spend some of that money, and the sooner Matthias Jasler can understand who's in and who's out. Because the last thing any new manager would want, and the last thing Eddie Howe wanted last summer, is to find that this is a saga that runs all summer. And I still maintain that the Isak situation in part led to Eddie Howe reassessing his position. He was never going to walk last summer, but then when it repeats itself with Anthony Gordon, Sandro Tonali, and now potentially Guimaraes, you can understand why Eddie Howe eventually changed his perspective and thought that it was better that somebody else leads the club forwards. And if Jasler begins being asked every single week about Bruno Guimaraes and if he's staying or going all the way until deadline day, and then if he leaves at that point, that's not a great position and it's not the best possible start, which is why I sense that Newcastle also want quick clarity, and that's why my anticipation is that Arsenal are confident.
Oh, Ben, I brought you on for good news, man. Well, all I've got is Joel just grinning at me. And
yeah, but I mean, I think we said it on a previous show, right? That Newcastle United will never accept they're a selling club. There's a manager that I've watched and known for quite some time that is all in on attacking football. And he's kind of a mixture of Ralf Rangnick and Jurgen Klopp with a little bit of Roberto De Zerbi. He's confident, he's ambitious. And some will say, well, why haven't Newcastle been that active in the market? They have. They signed a goalkeeper this morning. Bamba's a brilliant signing in midfield. And there'll still be more to come, because if you add up Gordon plus Tonali plus this proposed Bruno Guimaraes fee, there's plenty of money there for Newcastle to spend even without Champions League football, and even still meaning that they're in a safe financial position. So I would imagine that because Eddie Howe told the hierarchy he was going several weeks ago and then waited for them to find a replacement, that Jasler coming in, it will allow him to have say and spend in conjunction with the leadership and the recruitment team some of this money. So just because Guimaraes goes, don't be surprised if Newcastle United offset that with a spending spree of their own and bring in some exciting signings between now and the end of the window.
I mean, first of all, Ben, I want to say you are the man. You can appreciate why I'm very excited to hear from you today, because you've come bearing gifts. When you're talking about Bruno Guimaraes, look, I think it's pretty much a done deal. I like the way you said all we have to do is potentially finesse the current bid. What do you think someone like that brings? Is he coming into play as a 6? Is he coming into play as an 8? Is he coming in to stand in or support Declan Rice? Myself and Ollie were talking about it earlier on, but we're not 100% sure. What do you say?
Yeah, I think he's versatile, and that's part of the appeal. Norgaard's departed. They need to strengthen in the middle. And I still sense, but it's more a question for Mikel Arteta, that Declan Rice in the last kind of year and a half at West Ham, and even the first 6 to 9 months at Arsenal, was given quite a lot of attacking freedom. And then you start realising that Martin Odegaard comes back. They've got to think about the long-term future of Max Dowman. At the moment, they've still got Ethan Nwaneri. And don't forget, Eberechi Eze was signed as a central attacker in the 10 rather than a left winger. So when you add all of that up, it feels like they need somebody a little bit more disciplined, a little bit more engine room, high energy, can break through the lines, progressive parks with some metronome qualities, but from a deeper position. And Rice can do that as well. But if they play together, it's probably Declan Rice pushing a bit further forwards and Bruno Guimaraes being an old-school central midfielder that's high energy and can get both back and forwards. And that's a very underrated role, because you don't always get the glory. Sometimes you're the pass before the pass that leads to the assist that gets the goal. But of course, at Newcastle, he had output. He had goal contributions. He could burst into the box as well, and he could take free kicks. So it's a nice balance, I think, that Arsenal will have, because there's that depth, there's that ability to play him or Rice, and maybe even a solution where it's him and Rice. And then you'd obviously have to question, is Zubimendi the one that falls out of the side? But I tell you something, Joel, if Arsenal are serious, if Arsenal are going to back themselves up, if Arsenal are going to consolidate whilst the other 5 of the big 6 are in flux and change, even though Spurs and Chelsea are having really promising windows, but if Arsenal are going to play on this stability and back up last season and challenge on all fronts and win more silverware, they're going to need these selection headaches.
That's true.
How high could Newcastle's selling price be for this transfer, Ben? You know, how much money could they demand from Arsenal for Bruno?
Well, I think the general package will be in and around 80 million. Some say it's got to be 85. Others have said 75, but fixed fee and then add-ons on top. And then it would obviously depend on how easy they are. But I think generally Newcastle United are looking for something that starts with an 8 or a package that easily can get them to an 8. There are some reports that say the rejected bid was in and around 75 million, and that tells you that they're already not that far off. And as much as I fully respect all other reporting, and I'm not here to shout down ever any individuals, my information, talkSPORT's information, chief football correspondent Alex Crook's information has always been that these intermediaries, these verbal talks, have got the parties to this point. So some are billing it as first contact, first bid, come out the blue, rejected, and now Arsenal have got to come back and Newcastle want to keep. My information's a bit different, that this is basically the third offer but the first formal one, and now Arsenal are really confident of getting this deal done this week.
Okay, moving on. What is the latest with the Vinicius Junior situation then? Have you got more exciting news for Joel, or is it...
Tell me what I want to hear, Ben. Tell me what I want to hear.
For Joel, he's very excited.
See you later, we're out of time, aren't we?
Yeah.
So, Vinny Jr., 2 scenarios, not 3, according to my information. Again, some are billing this as Real Madrid could just keep, and then the player could leave on a free transfer in 2027. Maybe Vinny Jr. is willing to do that because then he can take his pick of clubs and come back to Arsenal or Saudi Arabia in a year's time. But Real are putting pressure on sign or we're going to sell you. And from Arsenal's perspective, they're waiting for a counter. So a lot of people ask me, aren't Arsenal just being used as leverage? And isn't this going to end with Vinny Jr. signing a new deal? Well, of course, maybe. We can't discount that very strong possibility. But key point is this is not Arsenal waiting for Real Madrid to speak to Vinny Jr. about a renewal. They've made their offer. They've pitched almost first. And now with that leverage, the ball is back in Real Madrid's court. And Real want an answer from Vinny Jr. also this week. Are you going to extend? If they get it, then Arsenal are going to be left disappointed. But if they don't because they can't agree terms, then Arsenal are going to start formal negotiations with Real Madrid. And that's what I mean about this option of just Real keeping him, doing nothing, trying to get him to extend when the window shuts, and then running the risk of Vinny leaving on a free in summer 2027. None of that is in Real's thinking. And then although it is true Jose Mourinho just wants to keep Vinny at all costs, Florentino Perez is clear. It's either a sale, most likely to Arsenal, or a renewal. And now Real are working this week after, not before, the Arsenal offer to try and get that renewal in place. So it's a bit of a nervous wait for Arsenal, and Vinny Jr. is expected to give his final answer at some point this week.
Yeah, they've basically got to wait at the wings, really, haven't they? We're going to have a bit more of a chat about that in just a moment, Joel. What about the latest with Trevor Chalobah? It looks like he's leaving Chelsea, Ben.
Yeah, we've got a few Chelsea deals that we can tell you about in terms of outgoings in the last few moments. Genesis Antwi has joined Chelsea's sister club, if you like, Strasbourg, on a loan, no buy option. Philip Jorgensen is in talks to join. There's some suggestions, by the way, that Mykhailo Mudryk might be an option for Strasbourg as well, and Coventry City are interested there. So Chelsea are getting going with outgoings, and Trevor Chalobah is the kind of big done deal. Como, after several offers, have reached an agreement in principle, is 30 million euros and 6 million in add-ons. So all in total package, 31 million. And there's a sell-on clause as well. Como, managed by Cesc Fabregas, they've got Champions League football, and in the end it's a move that suits all parties because Chelsea have got loads of centre-back options. They've signed Maxence Lacroix, and I suppose Trevor Chalobah realises that he's not going to get much game time. But all credit, by the way, to the academy product Chalobah, because it hasn't been easy, because in previous times he was shunned, he was put in a bomb squad, he was sent on a loan, he was brought back, and at every single opportunity he never turned his back on Chelsea. He found his way back into the starting lineup. He remained popular with the fan base, and he deserves this move.
31 million's a good fee, isn't it?
I mean, why are Chelsea so good at this?
Crazy.
What is going on?
Yeah, they're so good at. I mean, your record
Don't do
sale.
this, Ollie. Don't.
You know what it is, don't you? Go on. Tell the class. What's your record sale?
Is it Sanchez?
It's Alex Oxlade-Chamberlain.
Chamberlain at 35 mil.
Crazy, isn't it?
So what did we
Look
sell
at that, and then
Sanchez for then?
Trevor
What
Chalobah's
was,
going
what was
for 31
Sanchez for then?
To be honest, I can't really remember. Is that over to Manchester United?
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, guys, like you don't really have to compare, and we probably don't have time to go into this, but in short, Arsenal are like a now project. Win immediately. They've had 5 years to build. It's never really been about develop and sell or buy en masse. It's always been about first team and win things, which is why in previous years they've maybe come under criticism because the project's taken 5 odd years to build. But now they're there, and the whole point is renew, win, win, win. Chelsea is a youth-led project that even under Roman Abramovich was heavily contingent on their academy and sales, so they could spend bigger numbers in the market but have a higher turnover. And when you've got a higher turnover, if you're recruiting well at all levels, then you're going to develop. And anyone that wears the Chelsea badge is going to raise in value. So you commit to that less stable state of flux, hoping the ones that work stay, and understanding that the majority of players might be moved on. And if you can gain value from all of them, then you can fund your first team. So it's two different approaches rather than one club's better at selling. Arsenal could have big sales, but they don't want to sell.
I don't buy it. I don't believe we could have big sales. I just think we're not good at it.
Yeah, but if you put on the market Max Dowman, for example, or Gabriel Martinelli in the first perhaps year, maybe less so now, Williams, Saliba, if Mosquera was drawing interest from other clubs and 2 years in they go, okay, he's not going to play every week, so 2 years in we're going to sell him still at a young age, then suddenly you'd get record sale after record sale after record sale. But it's only, not the model.
It's only Newcastle and Villa who have to sell their players, isn't it? Obviously, and the rest of them who get those pesky rules in the way. Just very quickly, Ben, James Trafford to Leeds. How close is that?
Yeah, the medical, according to chief football correspondent Alex Crook, is this week. It's agreed in principle, £40 million plus add-ons, top signing for Leeds.
Absolutely. Ben, thank you very much indeed, mate.
Thank you.
There we go. Ben Jacobs, talkSPORT transfer reporter, just bringing you a few gifts there.
Yeah, you know, I always know Ben's going to deliver good news where he's when he doesn't shave. Like when Ben's got,
he's been busy.
Honestly, when he's got the regrowth happening, you're going to get some good news.
As a man who's had a summer of work, isn't it?
Yeah.
In just a moment, we're going to talk about that potential Vinny Jr. deal or potential Vinny Jr. undeal, essentially, because he could be staying at Real Madrid. That's the news that Ben is hearing, maybe.
I'm hearing the same thing.
Yeah. Are you?
Like, literally, I've got a notification that says it's not happening.
Okay, we'll get into that in just a moment here on Transfer Insiders.
Noticed that on social media, Curtis Jones liked the posts where Inter Milan announced Stones as a player.
He's acting like a spoiled brat. I saw his behaviour last night on the pitch.
This was after the friendly.
Yeah, I understand the frustration that you should have got the armband. He's been, he's a scouser. He's been there 20 years. Blah 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 blah. But to act like that and for it to carry on, because it went on for about 2 minutes.
Was it him and Dominic Szoboszlai?
Yeah, he was having a go at Szoboszlai, who handed the armband over, I think, to Tsimikas. Mm-hmm. And I believe Curtis Jones had the temper tantrum over that. It's just like that behaviour can't happen. Not from a graduate from the academy. He's too into himself. So if he wants to go,
is the source of his frustration not so much the captain's armband in a pre-season friendly? It's the fact he wants to leave. Is it?
Yeah. Okay. So he wants to leave. Well, okay. Now Liverpool have to get the best deal for the football club. That's how it works. Okay. You don't get to throw your toys out of the pram and do it slowly, knowing him, and then act like that. I just don't understand it. You're playing for one of the biggest football clubs in the world. You came through the system. Behave. Stop. That's all eyes are on you. That's not behind closed doors. That might go on in training and all those things, but you don't want to see that going on actually for millions of people to watch.
And it's not great for Andoni Iraola, fresh in the manager.
No, and I'm sure he'll move past that. And I think Szoboszlai was asked in the press conference, and he didn't even talk about it. But.
This is Transfer Insiders here on talkSPORT with me, Olly Clink. I'm alongside Joel Beya, Arsenal fan. Fantastic podcast. You do the podcast with Rio Ferdinand.
I do indeed.
Brilliant listen as always. You keep in touch with Rio throughout the summer and everything like that?
A little bit. We've just been like watching old school clips of players and saying, "No, the game's just not like what it is."
Is that him sending clips of himself?
Oh, no, it's not. It's actually me sending clips of like Thierry Henry and the good old days, really, if I'm honest with you.
Oh, I love that. Yeah. What's he like as a text? Is he a voice noter, Rio? Or is he?
Not really. I mean, he loves a little text here and there. And like he really loves football. Like, you know, there's some people that retire, like Martin Keown, and you're just like, mate, what's going on? But Rio loves ball.
Oh, good stuff. Well, it's a great listen. Always some top guests on there as well. Let's get the latest from the game going on in the Scottish Premiership very quickly. Celtic taking on Dundee. Here's John Dunn.
Celtic 0, Dundee 0, 21 minutes gone at Parkhead. Celtic entering the field with a Premiership trophy in the hands of captain Callum McGregor. There was the raising of the flag to signal that Celtic are the current champions. Fireworks pre-match not quite happened on the field early stages, although record signing Casper Hu for Celtic, who joined in the summer from Bodo Glimt, really should be on the score sheet. 9 minutes in, Dundee gave possession away with slip to Hu, left of the penalty area, all alone, but somehow dragged it wide with his right foot on the left post. 13 minutes, Kieran Tierney down the left-hand side, pulled it back to Arne Engels. His shot was on target, destined for the net, but Casper, who thought I could get a debut goal here, stuck his boot out and put it wide. Dundee certainly not out of this one. 14 minutes when Ryan Astley flung in a long throw from the right-hand side. Celtic didn't clear it. Charlie Riley, who scored 3 goals in 4 League Cup games already this season, snapshot from the edge of the 6-yard area, just skimmed the side netting. 22 gone, Celtic 0, Dundee 0.
John, thanks very much indeed. If we just explore the situation with Arsenal a little bit further, before we talk about that potential Vinicius deal, with Ben kind of saying that they're waiting in the wings for that, before we do that, with Bruno Guimaraes potentially coming in, what do you feel that means for Martin Zubimendi?
That's a good point, really, because we spoke about all the midfielders and we haven't mentioned him. I think it is what we think it is. He's going to have to really step it up. You know, one thing that we've learnt with Mikel is that he's not as sentimental as we probably might have thought before he came into the job. I mean, you know, we got Ramsdale, as a goalkeeper, you know, perfect example. Who would have thought? You know, we saw him make the purchase and then straight away he was ruthless enough to, you know, to go get another goalkeeper. So, I think I love it, though, because it means that you stay on your toes at all times. And it reminds you of a Manchester United at their peak, or a Man City even at their peak, where nobody is safe. And that's what you need to breed competition and to win more trophies.
Absolutely. So with Vinicius then, what Ben was basically saying there is that, you know, it might be a bit unfair to say that he's just using Arsenal as leverage, but it is that kind of situation where it looks like this contract might eventually be signed with Real Madrid, and he's trying to get a few extra zeros onto it. Is it a risk for Arsenal to potentially sit around and wait for that to happen and wait to pull the trigger and not have their eye on maybe another left winger or another big star to come in and fill that role?
I mean, maybe they do, but who are you to say that he's using us? He's using us for a new contract. Where'd you get that from?
Well, in what way is he not?
Well, he has a situation where he's got a year left on his contract. There's loads of image rights and things that me and you don't understand, and it's above our pay structure, pay grade. And you're telling me that it could just be that. It could just be that he's having a little struggle. Arsenal are monitoring the situation. And
so he's using them as leverage, isn't
it? No, it's not leverage.
Saying, look, this club wants to buy me.
No, that's just they're just sorting out their issues that they hadn't sorted out before. You know, he's not using us.
What? So they're monitoring, are they?
We're monitoring.
Yeah.
That's what my sources are saying.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah.
Is that the word they use? Monitoring.
Literally, that's literally what they're saying. They're monitoring.
Okay. If they don't get Vinicius, then one other player that seems to keep cropping up because we're not sure about his future at Manchester United is Marcus Rashford.
Yeah.
Would you be interested in Rashford? I mean, the problem is once you've been linked with Vinicius Junior, you know, whoever else they're now going to get is going to be like, could have been Vinny, couldn't it? But having said that, would Rashford be the kind of player you'd want Arsenal to try and bring in?
I mean, he's definitely someone I'll be monitoring. If I'm honest with you, definitely monitoring him. But no, I think, look, he's proved it. He can play at the highest level. Very effective for Barcelona last season. And I don't think Man United's a good move for him to go back to his mother club because
Why not?
you know what it's like. The minute he doesn't track back, all he needs is one shot that goes into the stands and it's like the patience that people have with Marcus Rashford is so thin at the moment. It's not even worth him going back.
Well, I think within Manchester United support. Yeah.
Even within his own fan base, if I'm to be really honest with you. I mean, don't get me wrong. Tracking back we shouldn't be here discussing whether a player tracks back or not. I think that's outrageous. That's like deciding whether you're going to come in.
The fans want to see effort, right, though?
They want to see effort. But, but we can't see what we saw a few seasons ago. That's just not going to run. But the issue is, it's more than that now. It's if he has a bad game and, all of a sudden there's 5 shots that aren't on target,
It feels to me like that ship sailed.
Yeah.
For sure. But look, I mean, could be on the lookout for a new club. And, Arsenal need a player of that kind of quality to come in and play on that left wing. So we'll see if they don't get Vinicius, who they're monitoring at the moment. Is that right? Yeah. I've got a text from Ryan, by the way. He says, why are football fans allergic to the concept of squad depth? Zubimendi will still play, so will Rice, so will Bruno, so will Odegaard, so will Lewis Skelly. I think the point we're trying to make, though, Ryan, is that is a headache for Arteta to try and keep those players happy.
Yeah, it's very limited.
Bruno Guimaraes will be coming from a club, all right. We can sit here and say Arsenal Premier League champions. It's a different kettle of fish, but he plays every single week if he is fit.
Yeah.
And he will be hoping and potentially expecting that to be the same when he joins a club like Arsenal too. So you're right. It's a good headache to have. Of course it is for Arteta, but
it's up to them. It's up to them to fight for it. Yes, there's squad depth, but we also know that there's nothing like having a settled squad. If you're playing a big game, you want to know who your starting 11 is. Mikel's going to want to know who his starting 11 and the fans are as well. They're going to want to know who the starting 11 is. So, but I'll be honest with you. Is it Alex? Was it Alex?
Ryan.
Yeah. Ryan. I don't care. I really wish I did.
Not paid to do it.
I've not just sign him.
Yeah,
that's all I care.
Just sign him and let us monitor it.
Exactly. Literally.
Arsenal, Newcastle fans want to hear from you. Arsenal fans, how excited are you by the potential arrival of Bruno Guimaraes? Are you favourites again to retain your crown? And Newcastle fans, will all this change? Will we have a good season? I'm trying to be positive about it. If you're worried, give us a call. 03717 22 33 44. This is talkSPORT.
It's interesting, this situation with Vinicius Junior, because there were some reports of the weekend that he'd agreed personal terms with Arsenal. Rock Nation, who represent the Real Madrid star, have released a statement hitting out fake news. They said Rock Nation Sports International and our entire team cannot stand idle when unprofessional and uninformed media publish fake and damaging information for attention-seeking purposes. This is especially unacceptable when it personally targets our clients without any foundation. It's disruptive, harmful and libelous, they say. Media outlets and journalists need to hold themselves more accountable. Now, if Vinicius Junior was that keen on a move to Arsenal, would his agency really have gone so strong in the statement?
No, I think. Look, they've been playing the game, haven't they? Let's be honest. I think Vinicius Junior wants to stay in Real Madrid. I think that's where he sees himself. He's probably using Arsenal to some extent to try and, get probably another 100 grand more on his already probably £1 million a week contract. So for me, Crookie, I think I'm expected that he's going to be staying at Real Madrid. I'll be very surprised if we see him in the Premier League and playing for Arsenal next year.
It's a real tall order, isn't it, for any club in the Premier League to tempt a player from Real Madrid. I was speaking over the weekend. I think it was Darren Goff maybe who made the point, or maybe Tony Cascarino, Dennis Bergkamp in the mid-90s when he left.
Corinthian Casuals are a team in the Combined Counties League Premier Division South. Despite that, they're one of the most important clubs in world football. Here's why. The club was formed in 1939 as the result of a merger between Corinthians FC and Casuals FC. Now, Corinthians FC were founded in the late 1800s when the FA's top brass were sick of getting pumped by Scotland every time they played them. As a result, a man called Nicholas Lane Jackson set up an amateur side which would bring in the best players who could all play for the national side. And it worked. It wasn't long before England were dominating the international fixtures they played, and it was largely down to Corinthians. In fact, in 1894 and 1895, they played consecutive games where Corinthians provided the entire England 11. But the thing is, the players refused to play professional football. They didn't believe in it. They wanted to spread the values of sportsmanship, competition, and played for the love of the game. It also helped that most of the players were Oxbridge graduates who didn't need the money. But instead of entering the league and cup competitions, they played exhibition football and toured the world, bringing the beautiful game with them. And it was this which spread the game throughout the world and made it so popular. Most famously, in 1910, they travelled to Brazil. And the locals in Sao Paulo were so impressed, they started their own team under the same name. Yes, the same Corinthians who won the FIFA Club World Cup in 2021, one of the biggest football teams in Brazil. Now, they were global superstars, and despite not being professional, Corinthians drew in the crowds. Everybody wanted to play them, everybody wanted to watch them. So much so, they regularly played the winners of the FA Cup in what eventually became the Community Shield, winning most of the time. They actually inflicted Manchester United's worst defeat, 11-3, a record which still stands to this day. Now, fast forward to today, Corinthian casuals still don't pay their staff or players. The ethos of sportsmanship is still at the heart of everything that they do. And even though they're a side in the lower leagues, if you make the trip to King George's Field in Tolworth just off the A3, you'll most likely bump into Brazilian Corinthians fans who often make the pilgrimage across the globe just to watch their founding team play.
Good evening, this is Transfer Insiders on talkSPORT with me, Olly Clink. I'm alongside Arsenal fan, elite podcaster Joel Beya. Tonight we've been chatting about Arsenal potentially getting Bruno Guimaraes over the line. He has turned up for Newcastle's pre-season, but that deal could still be on the cards. We'll chat a bit of Everton a bit later on. They look like they're bringing in Christian Norgard, but have they done enough business after what was quite a poor run at the end of last season? And we'll talk about Manchester United, some of the business they've done so far. Has it all been slightly underwhelming compared to some of the bigger clubs? This is Transfer Insiders on talkSPORT. 03717223344 if you do want to get in touch with us. Just quickly though, Joel, obviously heading into this new season, you'd say Arsenal were the favourites to retain their crown. If you're sitting there as an Arsenal fan, which team or teams worry you the most in terms of being challengers for your crown?
I'll probably say Manchester City. They're still up there. Obviously, it's different when Pep Guardiola's not around and look, Rodri as well isn't there, etc. But I do feel like Maresca, he knows how to get the best out of players. I think he's a very good manager. And I think the good thing about City is they kind of have a good setup, like they make it so when someone comes in, it's all ready for them, He is going to need a bit of bedding in time, I believe, but he's got a strong enough squad to cause some sort of damage. And then secondly, I would probably say Manchester United.
Would you?
I would say Manchester United, not because they are that great. I just feel like when you compare Liverpool, Chelsea, whoever else is there, they are a little bit further along the line with their rebuild.
Do you think?
Yeah, a little bit.
You think they're further along than Chelsea, Manchester United?
Yeah, they are, man.
Oh, I don't know.
Yeah, because think about it. Like Chelsea, they keep restarting. We've been talking about Chelsea having a young squad now for the last 3-4 years. Nothing's happened.
Yeah, but they're making transfers right now to change that, bringing in Welbeck, bringing in Henderson. They're also going to have one game a week.
And I feel like that was a massive factor as to why Manchester United was so good. Yeah. This time around, you're going to see Manchester United with all four fronts that they're going to be fighting on. Michael Carrick is not a manager that's experienced with that. I do think he's a good coach, by the way, and should have got the job, but that could be tricky for him. But I don't know, mate. There's something about Chelsea at the moment. It seems like it's coming together. They might be a couple of signings away, I think, from properly challenging with Xabi Alonso.
Chelsea, your London team.
No,
only one team for me. Talking. Do you know what it is? Is I've had the chance to spend a little bit of time around Michael Carrick, just a little bit.
Yeah,
just a little bit. I'm not gonna.
How long are we talking? A few
hours.
Had a chance to monitor him.
Yeah, I've had a chance to monitor Michael Carrick over a few hours, and he seems to me like he's much better than people make him out to be, because I feel like he's a brilliant manager.
Okay.
And I feel
did
like
he manage you?
He did.
Really?
He did. I know what you're doing there. He did. He monitored. He monitored me. He did. But no, I think he has a great relationship with his players.
Mm-hmm.
I think he's going to get players as well. People going, but he needs X, Y, and Z. I think United will be able to buy whoever they buy. They've already started really well. I think, if anything, they need a left back and a few players here and there. But I think he understands the media, which is going to be key for him as well this season. I think he's going to be able to have media on side, which is going to allow him to have good results and stuff like that. And you're right, it is going to be tricky for him playing more than one game a season. But those guys were getting results last year, man. They beat us. They beat City. We thought it was just going to be a, manager bounce, but it wasn't, man.
Yeah.
He did really well.
I'm not sure if that many more fixtures. You see how much it takes out of a side. You saw it with your own Arsenal. Think about the amount of depth.
Can't compare us. We got to the.
No, of course not.
We're great. We're great.
You're fine.
Yeah.
But I'm just saying as well that load of games is a completely different looking season than the one they had last time out, when they seem to be playing every kind of 5 years. And that's
as well.
Yeah, exactly. And those will build up. Whereas with Chelsea, there'll be plenty of time on the grass for Xabi Alonso to get his message across. And I don't know, I just quite like their business so far. After Liam Rosenior left, the club came out and said they needed a period of reflection with the way that they were operating. And at the time, I kind of thought, they're just putting words on a page there. That kind of means absolutely nothing. But it does seem like they have had a look at that transfer policy. They have been listening to what Xabi Alonso wants. And they're trying to deliver that for him this window. I mean, think about that front line for Chelsea, by the way. If they're all fit,
isn't it?
Estevao, João Pedro. Yeah. You've got a Danny Welbeck potentially coming off, or coming on, or whatever it is. Morgan Rogers, Cole Palmer.
As it stands, Enzo.
As it stands, yeah. Caicedo in midfield.
Behind him.
If they can sign a goalkeeper and a few defenders,
you can keep Lavia fit.
They're not far away, mate.
But we've been saying this for years, though. That's my problem, Ollie. We've been saying it for years, and guess what? London's still red. So until anything else happens, it's just chat.
Okay, let's go to the phone lines. We were asking Newcastle fans like myself how concerned they were for the new season. I was trying to put a positive spin on it. Start of a new era. Let's go again, despite losing all our stars and our manager. Derek's a Newcastle fan. Derek, come on, mate. How are you feeling?
Good evening. Well, I'm quite optimistic. I feel that Eddie did very, very well when he arrived, and he stirred it all up and he got things going, and it was brilliant. However, let's just keep our sense of direction here. For the last season, this team performed abysmally. He had Tonali, he had Anthony Gordon, he had Bruno, he had the full Monty, and the team was absolutely dreadful. And I think that Eddie simply ran out of steam. I think he was stale. I'm not criticising him. He did a great deal for Newcastle.
Yeah.
But unfortunately, like all things, they do come to an end. And I think it was time that we moved on, as it's happening. We have a new manager. He's obviously going in there with a fresh outlook. I also believe that Eddie inadvertently cost Lewis Hall a position with England. I think that he messed them about. He played one or two of his faithful servants all the time, And unfortunately, it's all come back to bite him.
Yeah, well, it's such a shame that Lewis Hall didn't get to go to the World Cup, and you've got to
Hang
blame
on a minute.
Tuchel there.
Hang on a minute, guys.
Got to blame Tuchel.
Tuchel was going to do what he was going to do regardless. I mean, but Derek, you're saying that it wasn't a great season last season, but every manager has a season where it doesn't quite go well. Doesn't mean they need to leave.
Well, it didn't help the Liverpool manager, did it?
That's a good point. That's a good point.
Derek, you should be sitting here instead of me. Derek, you caught me off guard there.
Well, yeah. Listen, the results orientated. And as I said before, look, hey, I'm not having to go at Eddie as such, but the truth is that he had an abysmal ceiling. And it was going still. And Eddie has previous form, of course, because he did really the same sort of thing at Bournemouth. He decided that he'd taken the club as far as he could, and he went left. And look where Bournemouth are today.
Yeah, it does feel like the end of a cycle, doesn't it, for Newcastle? That's what I was trying to say. This is a spin I'm trying to put on it. So a new, fresh era, essentially. Andy is a Newcastle fan. Andy, do you share that sentiment? How are you feeling ahead of this new season with the stars going out the door and Eddie Howe also going and Joel laughing next to me?
You all right, boys?
All right, mate. How are you doing?
Yeah, I'm good. I've been listening to you worrying all night, Ollie, so I'm ringing up here to calm your nerves and let you know that the Iceman cometh. Yes. And we will be up there challenging this season, I'm telling you now. And if Bruno wants to go and sit on the Arsenal bench, let him go and sit on the Arsenal bench. And when we win the league and he's sitting in second for Arsenal, I hope he enjoys that.
Yeah. I love it, Andy. No, Andy, to be honest, I'm with you. I'm with you in terms of the optimism. I'm kind of. It feels like a fresh start, doesn't it? And it like does. Derek was saying there, it feels like the end of a cycle, an end of an era. You can thank Eddie Howe so much for what he did. Of course, every Newcastle fan will do that. But is it this crisis that everyone's talking about? I'm not sure it's that desperate.
It's not. It's optimistic. It's something to look forward to. I think we're going to see a different brand of football, which I think was needed after some of the terrible stuff we had to witness last season. I think you'll see a different version of Elanga because I think we'll play balls over the top, where he thrives on, where under any system he was asked to come and get the ball and then try and beat his man, and he couldn't do that. You'll see a different Elanga. You'll see different players all over the pitch, and he hasn't even come in and bought anyone yet. He's going to have a couple of £100 million to spend on some worldies. And we're going to be up there.
Andy, sounds like hope to me, mate. Right? Because Elanga's issue hasn't been because balls weren't over the top. It's because he couldn't finish and put it in the back of the net when he had the opportunity, mate. All the pace in the world, not great finishing.
I don't think he ever got there. I don't think the way he was asked to play, it didn't suit his style. You'll see a different Elanga this season. With the Iceman.
The Iceman.
The Iceman.
I love it. So, Andy, genuinely, where do you think Newcastle finish next season?
Well, it's either going to be top 6 or it's all going to go Pete Tong and we're going to be in the bottom.
Top 6?
Yeah, but you covered yourself there, Andy, as well. Either top 6 or bottom of the table. That's great. Could be anywhere. But you're right, Andy. But also, is it just me? That's what makes it quite exciting. It's also unpredictable.
Yeah, we need that. We've been... Nice guy Eddie's just been too... I wanted to grab him and shake him and get a bit of emotion out of him, and I haven't seen that. I'm looking forward to this new kid coming in and seeing a bit of passion on the sidelines, and hopefully that transfers onto the pitch.
Yeah, the Iceman. Love it. Andy, thanks very much. 03717 223344. There you go. There you go. It's optimistic, mate. We're fine.
Really quickly, are you going to miss Jason Tindall?
Oh, missed that tan on the sideline, mate.
Yeah?
Yeah, it blinded the opposition every week. That helped us. It helped us, mate. That bronze tan. Do you know who's most gutted about Eddie leaving? Every tanning salon in Newcastle.
Oh, my God.
They do good business anyway, but Jason going... and also, if they build a statue for Eddie Howe someday, you have to have Tyndall next to him.
Yeah, you have to.
In bronze.
Yeah.
It has to be bronze.
Is he the main man? Like, what's the sitch with him?
What, Jason Tyndall?
Yeah.
He's left alongside Eddie Howe leaving the club. But I think they just come as a proper team. It feels to me like Tyndall's that link between the players and the manager, and then all the other decisions are with Eddie Howe. But if you hear the players talk about their relationship with Tyndall, it's always very, very positive. Yeah.
Nice.
Keep the calls coming in. 03717 223344. We're going to turn our attention to Liverpool in just a moment. This is Transfer Insiders on talkSPORT.
is it having won the league last season? I mean, you mentioned this to me in the break. Do you think it's more emphasis on the Champions League this time?
Possibly, without wanting to obviously downplay anything else around it. Possibly there will within the camp that little bit of extra determination to try and get over the line in the Champions League. They'll be right in there again. Champions League is such fine margins. Those matches when you get to the quarters and the semis of those games, you can be in pole position with 10 minutes to go and go out. It's very, very difficult to absolutely guarantee anything at that level and that stage of that competition. They're the team to beat in the Premier League. I think the squad, I just looked at the squad again, Jeff. They've got so many good players. I mentioned to you about William Saliba obviously being out for a bit, not sure of back injury, and backs can be a bit weird. You can feel like it's all clearing up, then all of a sudden something doesn't feel right again. They can frustrate you. But they've got Nkapie, they've got Calafiori, they've got others that can all play alongside Gabriel and cope admirably in that position. Still got, as far as I'm aware, unless I've missed something, but they've still got players to cover pretty much every position, every eventuality. So they're in great shape, great health. And if they get another big one through the door, another real top draw player, and I'm not sure who that is and in what position that would necessarily be, but I think if they sent a message in that respect, oh wow, they're going to take some stopping.
Well, obviously it looks like Bruno Guimaraes is going to be through the door.
He's the one. Do you like him?
Only optimism for the Newcastle fans. Don't you love it?
Oh man, it's hilarious to me.
Why?
Because you're going down.
What? Been monitoring it for a while.
Yeah.
You're going down, mate. Do you know what? I honestly, that first game against Liverpool is going to be absolutely electric. At St James's Park. Of course, there's going to be all the tributes to Kevin Keegan, legend of both clubs, everything like that. Yeah. New manager in the dugout. Oh, that is already game of the weekend. Newcastle-Liverpool's already a very good game, isn't it?
Yeah.
Every season. So, looking forward to that. This is Transfer Insiders here on talkSPORT with me, Olly Clink, alongside Joel Beya. Before we chat a bit of Liverpool and take some more of your calls, let's get half-time in the Scottish Premier League. Celtic against Dundee. How's it looking, John Dunn?
Celtic 0, Dundee 0 at half-time. The champions starting their latest title defence with a goalless first half, although record signing Casper, who joined last week from Bodo Glimt, has had a hat-trick of chances for a debut goal. 9 minutes in, Dundee giving possession away. It came to Who, left of the area, dragged his shot wide. 13 minutes, Tierney with the ball in from the left. Arne Engels with a shot on target. Who decided he could grab a debut goal, but ended up steering it wide from a few yards out. Nygren slipped the ball through to Who, left of the area. Some good movement from the striker. That needed a really good block from defender Ryan Astley. Further chances for Celtic. Free header from Arne Engels. That was wide. Engels then slipped in. Kieran Tierney left of the area. First time shot. Palmed over the ball by debutant goalkeeper Owen Goodwin. It's not all been Celtic's way, though. Dundee have been bold in their approach, created a few problems, the best of which came from a long throw from Ryan Astley, landed at the feet of Charlie Riley 6 yards out. His shot skimming the side netting before falling wide. At Parkhead, half-time, Celtic 0, Dundee 0.
John, thanks very much indeed. We've got a text here on 81089. You can also send a WhatsApp voice note to 0371 722 3344. It's on the Arsenal transfer business from Al, who says, Bruno, yes, please. As you've been saying, Ollie, that's a needle mover, would make our midfield unbelievably strong. He says, Vinny, not for me. We're about the team, the collective, not an individual who'll think he's better than the club. What do you make of that?
It sounds like Troy Deeney. That's what it sounds like.
Similar to Joey's take, isn't it?
Yeah, no, honestly. And I actually had a offline chat with Troy about
this. Did you?
Yeah. We were talking on WhatsApp, and I understand, what he was trying to say, where it could debalance the team, etc. But with all respect, mate, this is Arsenal Football Club, and we need to start flying for it, man. We need to start going for it. This could be our Ozil signing, taking the club to the next heights. And every great team has that one player that you kind of allow to cheat because they're just that good. And if it's going to be Vinny Jr., why not? This could potentially be the biggest Premier League signing since what? Dennis Bergkamp, maybe?
It's difficult to think of a bigger one. In terms of taking a player from Real Madrid
Yes.
in his prime, linked with winning the Ballon d'Or.
Yeah.
You know, it is very tricky to think of a club prizing a player away in that regard, in that sense. So, I think you'd probably be right. And I think you're right to say that I get Al's point, because it's what Mikel Arteta's built, and that has got you to a point where you've won a Premier League. But I think the quality of Vinny Jr., you can't turn it down.
Honestly, if it's
You can't.
available, there's no one close to it. There's only one player in that position that's better than him. And that's the player who plays in his current team.
Yeah, exactly.
So, you might as well take it, man.
Yeah. We'll see how it goes on. Anyway, we should focus on Liverpool. They had a pretty heavy loss in pre-season yesterday to Leeds, who beat them 4-2. Liverpool were 2-0 up, and then there was a spell of 4 goals in 25 minutes. Let's bring in Matt Addison now, Liverpool.com reporter. Matt, how are you?
Yeah, very good. Thanks, guys.
How concerning is that result? A lot of people will obviously look at that and say, look, it's pre-season, but there's been a lot of talk about the amount of defenders that are currently injured at the moment, maybe the lack of depth in especially the centre-back position as a result of that. Is there a bit of concern to be had from a Liverpool perspective?
I think there is concern in terms of depth. I wouldn't necessarily put it down to that one pre-season game. The first half was good. The second half was really bad, but it just sort of encapsulated how good the starting 11 is for Liverpool and how lacking they are in depth. As you say, they've got injuries. We yet to see Jake or Leone. Joe Gomez does unfortunately get injuries on the regular, and Virgil van Dijk is, I think, 35, soon to be 36. So, yeah, it's a little bit worrying, I think, in terms of depth. The way that Liverpool defended against Sunderland, against Leeds rather, wasn't good. But that was more, I think, tiredness from a few fringe players or young players. The worry would be if they have to start playing in the real stuff in a few weeks' time.
Would you expect them to be exploring options in the market? I mean, Joe Gomez is out injured too, and I think I'm right in saying there's only one fit senior centre-back, and that's Virgil van Dijk. So are you expecting them to do a bit of business or simply wait for some of those players to recover?
Yeah, I mean, it's tricky to say at this moment. Obviously, Bradley Barcola is the one that everyone is talking about at the moment. But in my opinion, it would be just as important to get somebody who can play centre-back and a little bit of right-back as well. I think that makes all the sense in the world, because even when Joe Gomez comes back, that will be after the start of the season now. Even when he comes back, you can't guarantee his fitness. Van Dijk's age at the other end of the spectrum, Jake and Leone are both very, very young and very inexperienced. I think Liverpool think that they've brought in 2 really elite, potentially future world-class centre-backs there, but that isn't necessarily going to be the case between now and Christmas, or for this season, or even for the next couple of years. They might take a little bit of time to get up to speed and get used to playing for a club as big as Liverpool, especially in the case of Leone. He's missed pretty much now a full year of football because of an ACL injury. You don't come back from that straight away and just carry on as if nothing happened. It can take time. And obviously Conor Bradley is in a similar situation as well. Again, another one who, unfortunately, across the course of the last few years has had injuries. The best indicator of future injuries tends to be what has happened in the past with Conor Bradley and Joe Gomez in particular. You can't really rule anything out. So, yeah, one more at least would be the preference, certainly from my perspective. Whether Liverpool think they can get by for the time being, of course, they'll have better knowledge of when Conor Bradley is going to be back or what state someone like Giovanni Leone is in. Jake, it's worth saying, even though he hasn't played yet this summer, isn't far away. I think we'll probably see him in a couple of friendlies before the season starts. So, yeah, it's a little bit precarious. I think that's the word I would use. They would be taking a big risk if they don't do it, but I don't think it's a guarantee.
If they could just have no defenders for that first game against Newcastle, that'd be absolutely brilliant. Please. If you get that message across, Matt, that'd be fantastic.
There tends to be a lot of goals in those games, to be fair.
Yeah, so true.
You sound so desperate. My goodness. Matt, Joel here, Arsenal fan, of course. There's the Bradley Barcola link, obviously. I'm seeing the magic number, £100 million. From your perspective, is this something that's going to happen or not? Because even from an outsider looking in, I think he's a great player. Questionable finishing, I've always said. But there's obviously great pace, great talent, and you're in need of someone in that attacking position. What's your thoughts?
Yeah, I mean, absolutely on the last point, Liverpool are in need of something in that position. And I think that probably doesn't help the price tag, because whether it's Barcola or somebody else that you go for, the selling club know that there is a desperate need to get somebody in who plays in that way, who has speed and has pace. And obviously we know Mohamed Salah left at the end of last season. Obviously it wouldn't be a direct comparison in terms of, replacing one with the other. But, Liverpool do need bodies. I think Bradley Barcola is probably the best of the realistically attainable options on the market. I think that's probably why Liverpool will look at him. By all accounts, they looked at him last summer with all of these things, similar to Florian Wirtz. They've been aware of him for a number of years. They obviously think that there's something there. The question, I think, is just that number. 100 million. PSG would say that they want considerably more than that. Liverpool would probably rather pay a little bit less. If they can come to an agreement, that would be a huge thing. But obviously the clock is ticking. There's less than a month now left. And Bradley Barcola is still a PSG player at the moment. I think the thing that gives me a little bit of hope from a Liverpool perspective is that PSG seem to be looking at a couple of players. They seem to have gone for a couple of wingers and forwards who play in the position that Barcola does. Surely the logical thing would be, if they get a couple of those in, then maybe that's the opening for Barcola to leave.
Matt, in terms of outgoings, there's been a few links today with Cody Gakpo and a move to Spurs. There's certainly interest there from Tottenham. Can you see a world where he might end up making a move there?
I maybe could have done at the start of the summer. I think at this point it would be difficult in terms of Liverpool just don't have the options to sell. I think there's interest, or there has been interest for the last few months in someone like Federico Chiesa as well. But, you can't let any more players go because Liverpool don't have enough options at the moment. I think in an ideal world, it'd be Barcola and one more coming in. And even then, if that happened, I'd still keep Cody Gakpo for that depth. So I think it's a tricky one. If an absolutely enormous offer came in from Tottenham, and Tottenham have done that already this summer with other players, maybe there's a conversation to be had. But it does feel a little bit to me like, not just with him, but with one or two others as well, the time maybe for that to happen would have been a few weeks ago. At this point, it just feels like they've left themselves with a lot to do. If you start entertaining the fact that maybe Cody Gakpo could go or maybe somebody else could leave, it's just one other thing to put onto that to-do list.
And just quickly as well on Curtis Jones, because there was a couple of clips of him, I think, with Szoboszlai, and he was looking quite irate after a pre-season game with Wrexham. They were then filmed in training, all mates again, etc. But there's been a couple of links with him potentially going to Inter Milan, and how likely could that be?
Yeah, I mean, I'd say that's probably more likely than the Cody Gakpo one, just because we know there is long-standing interest there. Again, it would be tricky, I think, for Liverpool to let him go. I mean, they wouldn't do that anyway unless Inter were to up their offer. They've come in a couple of times this summer and not got anywhere near what Liverpool want, which I don't think is unrealistic. But yeah, there has been a couple of suggestions and signs maybe that Curtis Jones isn't 100% happy where he is, maybe wants a bigger role. His contract expires next summer, so there's even a conversation to be had around that. If he does stay, is there a condition there that Liverpool can extend that contract? But it's difficult, I think, to guarantee him a place in the team if Andoni Iraola is going to have a couple of players in front of his defence. I think at the moment, Ryan Gravenberch and Dominic Szoboszlai would be the obvious two. They've both signed long-term contracts in the last few months. There's Alexis McAllister there as well. And Trey Naoni has been absolutely sensational during pre-season. I think he is definitely a player to watch out for in the next few months from a Liverpool perspective, a really, really exciting young talent. So Liverpool do have options in there. There is definitely interest there from Inter Milan. I'm sure there's probably interest to a certain degree from Curtis Jones in going there for a variety of reasons. But in a similar position, I think, to Cody Gakpo, it would be an unnecessary risk for Liverpool to sanction an exit at this point unless they can get somebody else in. And as I keep saying, the clock is ticking on that. Not obviously towards the September the 1st deadline. There's still a little bit of time, but ideally you want all of these things wrapped up by the time Liverpool play Newcastle.
Yeah, Curtis Jones could have a little McTominay style glow up, couldn't he, if he goes over to Inter Milan potentially. Matt, thank you very much indeed for your time.
Nice one. Thanks, guys.
There we go. Matt Anderson there, Liverpool.com reporter. Right, in just a moment here on Transfer Insiders, we're going to chat a bit of Manchester United. We had a little conversation, didn't we, about Marcus Rashford and whether he should say a bit earlier on. But we'll talk about their business so far. Has it been a bit of an underwhelming summer? This is talkSPORT.
staying with Liverpool, there are some reports that they have now made a formal offer worth £100 million for Bradley Barcola. I reported a couple of days ago that Barcola wanted to make the move to Anfield, but you've not been too inspired by this possibility.
No, I'm with Jamie Carragher in the camp that I saw him the other day talking about it. We have like 3-4 left wingers already, players who can play there. We need to fill the void by Salah. Frimpong was meant to help with that, but we know he's got medical injury issues last year and not quite what we like to see out wide right when he did play. We need a right winger. It's concerning. And we're going out and we're getting another pacey player who plays on the left majority of the time. So unless Rio's going to get put on the right, square pegs, round holes, all that kind of thing. I don't know. I don't love it because of the money. If he was 60, 70 million, and I get it, he's not. Yeah. You think, okay, it's a no-brainer. Then you maybe sell Gakpo and you clear up some space on the left and you still go get a right winger. But Liverpool right now are playing with one centre-back and the other centre-back on one leg. So, they've got issues. McAllister's going to come back. He was a shadow of himself last year. They need some help in central midfield. Potentially need a right-back because really we haven't got a right-back. Frimpong's obviously going to play in
Joe
there,
Gomez is now
else.
going to miss the start of the season.
Yeah, that's Joe Gomez. God bless him. He could have been a world-class defender, but obviously injuries have stopped that. So Liverpool have got a lot of holes to fill. So, and you got to start a right wing.
Good evening, this is Transfer Insiders here on talkSPORT with me, Olly Clink. I'm alongside Joel Beya this evening, jetting off this week again.
That's right. Listen, I wanted to say I'm in love with your surname,
Oh, really?
Clink, honestly.
Yeah.
We need a
everyone's
spoon.
Celebrating.
Honestly.
Always celebrating.
Besides Newcastle. Wow.
That's strong.
Bad, isn't it? That's really bad.
Mate, we're going to be celebrating, don't worry about it.
We're in the championship. Oh my goodness.
Yeah, you're the first person I'll text when Arsenal come up to St James's Park once again. And it's a Wissa masterclass.
Oh, you know what? We should go together at the home game.
Yeah, we should. We should. Keep your calls coming in, by the way. 03717 223344. We should have a chat, though, about Manchester United, I think.
Yeah.
Joel, what have you made of the business so far? They brought in Cole Darlow from Leeds, backup goalkeeper, but then Yuri Tielemans, I do think was a good bit of business, around 35 million, getting his release clause triggered. Really, and then Andre Santos coming in from Chelsea too. We know they needed to bolster that midfield. That's the only real business so far from them. Has it been a bit underwhelming, especially when you compare it to how some of the other big clubs have operated?
It feels incomplete, doesn't it?
It does.
It feels like...
And there's still time, to be fair.
There is still time, but it does feel incomplete. I mean, look, I have to be really honest, right? If you were watching earlier on, listeners on talkSPORT, right, I was saying, you know what? I think Manchester United, they're our biggest challengers, but you've made me go away and have a think. And I've looked at the list, and there's not been a lot that's gone in, really, if you think of it. And I'm actually a bit worried for them now.
Really?
If I'm honest, it's just not enough.
Convinced you, Joel?
Yeah, no, you've done a really good job. I like to be, like, right. And then even if I'm wrong, I'll still act as if I'm right.
Okay. But I have that trait as well. It's really weird. Yeah.
I'll be really honest. It's not looking good, is it?
No. No, and I don't know. Look, like I say, I think Tielemans is a good signing.
Yeah.
Andre Santos. Look, if you speak to Chelsea fans, they do say that there's a bit of potential there, and he's a decent player. But I was kind of expecting Manchester United to, I don't know, maybe have brought in Sandro Tonali potentially, or I know Elliot Anderson had those big links to Manchester City, but that neither of them for me feel like a statement kind of midfield signing, which I was kind of expecting.
Yeah.
Maybe they're trying to make up for that by being smart and bringing those two in together to add a bit of depth to that area. I think left back is the other area they're exploring, and once again, it's a Newcastle player that's linked in Lewis Hall.
I don't think he goes.
I just think, honestly, I mean, that would be an absolute ransacking for Newcastle if Lewis Hall also left.
Yeah, no, I think you got to give it like 12 months before you go in for him if they really want him. But I do think there's options there for them, you know.
Well, one player I was thinking about, and it's someone we mentioned a bit earlier when we were talking about your Arsenal. Miles Lewis-Skelly is an interesting one. He has been linked with a move to Manchester United too, but I don't know, when you look at his career so far at Arsenal, I think he's done really well. I thought he did really well at the end of last season, especially some of the performances he put in the Champions League, stepping into midfield. He was a real key part of you getting all the way to the final. But when you look at that Arsenal squad now, Joel, how far behind is he in the pecking order? Firstly, when it comes to left back, but also when it comes to midfield, when you consider the fact that Bruno Guimaraes might be coming through the door. I mean, when you really think about it,
I didn't think about it, if I'm honest. And you saying that is we have to be honest. This is
what have you got? Calafiori and Hincapié left back
as well, you know.
And then you got Bruno Guimaraes, you got Zubimendi. You know, is it looking like a situation for Lewis-Skelly where he might have to go? Look, I love this club, and it'll be a difficult one for Arsenal fans to accept, but maybe needs to go away and get a bit of game time. And joining Manchester United, by the way,
not a bad move, is it?
Not a bad move at all.
But would he want to join them as a left back though? That's the thing, because he's fighting his whole career to prove that he can play midfield. Does he then go and try to prove himself as a left back?
I'm not sure. And maybe he joins as that versatile player. But
yeah,
would you? And I know it'd be difficult for you as an Arsenal fan, like I say, but could you begrudge him that move if that one was one to come up?
I'm a businessman, man. You know, like I do have emotions, but there's also Joel Business Beya. And if I'm Miles Lewis-Skelly at the moment, you know, mate, you got to go where you're wanted and where you're loved. You know, and I think he didn't do himself any issues with the way he played at the end of last season. He was better than what I thought. You know, I thought he was really good as a left back 2 seasons ago, and what he did for England was fantastic. But I think what I saw at the end of the season, I thought, why has this guy not been playing there? Running through the midfield, fantastic in the Champions League final, fantastic in Champions League semi-final. He was there when you needed him to be there. Mentally was strong, physically great, plays the ball forward, you know, stops the play. Like, he's everything you want. And I would still keep him at Arsenal, because it doesn't matter what happens. I don't think Declan Rice is a natural 6. I don't. I think he is. I think Miles Lewis-Skelly is, but I think you it's muddy waters when you start to. Who's playing as the 6 then?
Yeah, it's an interesting
you got Zubimendi, but then
it's an interesting point because for me, having watched obviously a lot of Bruno Guimaraes, he for me is a better 8. He's a much better 8. So
exactly.
So as much as you would have that depth there in midfield, it is a decent point to say that they're actually playing that 6 role, which he did so well. That could mean that Arsenal would look at that kind of thing and say, no, we definitely want to keep him.
Yeah.
But you can understand the point, and I know he's a young player still anyway.
Yeah.
But with just how good he's been, there might be a part of him thinking, well, hold on, if a club comes in for me and I can, carry on playing my football and doing well, then it might be quite an attractive thing to look at.
I think he stays for a year. I think he stays for another 12 months. I think the players that have got a bigger question mark over themselves would be, I'll say, like Ethan Nwaneri. What do you do if you're him this season? You're talking about, positioning. Guimaraes is coming and he's playing in your position. So then you've got Odegaard, Eze, Bruno. Like you're now 4th choice.
Yeah. Another player I wanted to ask you about, by the way, you're talking about Nwaneri there, but just before that, there has been a goal in the Scottish Premier League in the game between Celtic and Dundee. Which way has it gone? John Dunn.
The Champions League, Celtic 1, Dundee 0, and it's Benjamin Nygren with a goal. Kieran Tierney, who's been delivering some super crosses throughout the game. It was teed up for him, left side corner of the penalty area, floated in 6 yards out. Nygren was all alone. It was a free header into the bottom of the net beyond Goodman. Celtic fans were starting to get frustrated, lots of moans and groans at misplaced passes, but now the atmosphere inside Parkhead is deafening as the champions take the lead. Celtic 1, Dundee 0.
There we go, Celtic in front. We've had a text, by the way, Joel. It says, we aren't selling Miles Lewis-Skelly. He's wanted at Arsenal. It then said Zubimendi is behind Lewis-Skelly in the pecking order now. He saw that at the back end of last season, and we're going to have so many games to play that Lewis-Skelly will play a lot of games next season. Is he behind Zubimendi, in front of Zubimendi, do you think?
I think he's right. I think he is. I mean, look, even when Zubimendi was fit end of last season, he was still picking Miles Lewis-Skelly. You know, so I think our text messenger is 100% correct, and I think he stays put for at least 12 months. If after 12 months the game time's limited, then he starts looking.
The other player I wanted to ask you about is Max Dowman, and how much football you think he might get next season. Just bearing in mind as well, we're talking about that heavy load on Declan Rice, but obviously the other player that has been affected by that is Bukayo Saka.
Yes.
And then it means that Noni Madueke potentially could be playing, you know, similar to last season, a lot of football. But is next season the time to try and bring Dowman through even more, even though he's still at that very young age?
Yeah, I mean, I think this is where we're different here in the UK or when you look at England, because if Spain see a talented player, they go, yep, we're taking him to the Euros. Don't care if he's 16, you know, and he'll go there and he'll.
Well, look at Yamal.
That's who I'm referring to. Do you see what I mean? So I think when you look at Brazil, when you look at every other nation, successful nations, by the way, they're not as coy as we are here in England. You know, I think the last time we did that probably would be you're looking at Raheem Sterling.
Yeah.
Raheem Sterling, probably 17 years old. Then before that is Theo, and then Rooney, then Owen. I think Max Dowman was probably good enough to go this Euros, really. But I can understand why he hasn't, of course. But I think him and Rio and Ngamoa, those are players that need to play this season.
Yeah.
They're just too good to be benched. Like, you're frustrating them for no reason. They're ready now. Yes, they shouldn't play 90 minutes every game. But if they're good enough, mate, I don't care if you know, Saka's the experienced lad and he's got the contract. Mate, it's all about who's playing the best football.
Yeah.
And as far as I'm concerned, Max Dowman, he's one of the very best.
I genuinely thought you were going to, I don't care if he's got his GCSEs. Get on the pitch, lad.
You know what I mean? Honestly. I don't even know if he's got his results yet.
Yeah, it's true, yeah. It doesn't matter. I think he's going to be all right, isn't he? I tell you what, though, I mean, I was at that game, Arsenal-Everton, I was covering it for talkSPORT. It was such a pivotal game in the title race, that. And a lot of people were saying about it was an I was there moment because of the goal that he scored into the empty net. But actually...
Wait.
No, hold on.
You just said that as if he didn't just run past the team and give it a little 1-2 twinkle toes.
Oh, yeah, but the goalkeeper's out.
No. Are you trying to discredit him?
I'm trying to wind you up as well.
Oh, okay.
But the point I was actually going to make was it wasn't just that moment. It was the way he changed the game. I remember Arteta after the game saying, you had all these experienced pros, these guys that have gone on to win a Premier League, that have played so much, you know, European football, etc. Yeah. And every single one of them wanted to give Max Dowman the ball.
Yeah.
You know, and that is testament to just how good he is. Yeah. And he got the assist for that first goal too, that people forget about. So, so yeah, it could be a big season. And I think you're so right to pick out Rio Ngamoa, by the way. I mean, even in that World Cup warm-up game, it felt baffling that he wasn't in the squad.
Couldn't believe it, honestly, man. That boy's got a... I'm not a scout or a football expert, but that guy's got a bright future for sure.
Yeah, absolutely. Anyway, in just a moment here on Transfer Insiders, we are going to have a look at Everton. Have they done enough business yet, and how could next season look for them? This is talkSPORT.
My issue is, and you say he's in a minority of one at the moment, I'm not sure he is, because, you know, we haven't seen the African Federation, for example, come out against him as yet. And you know what? I've got this feeling he won't be forced to resign, because he's shown his vanity. He's shown this astonishing lack of self-awareness. It's absolutely beyond belief that I think he will be so difficult to prize out of his position. You know, David Bernstein's going to be on later on, and he will tell us how difficult it was to get rid of Sepp Blatter. And I think we're in a similar situation.
That's a good point. Yeah, look, I totally understand that. But I know that he lost a couple of seniors, people in senior positions. I think over the last few days at FIFA, people have resigned. And I just always feel when that sort of stuff starts happening, when others that a few weeks ago were reasonably close to him, all of a sudden have now just gone in the middle of the night in a puff of smoke. They're out the door, and I'm sure others would be tempted to follow. I just feel that I don't think it's going to happen quickly, Jeff. Whatever's going to happen, I'm sure it's going to be pretty protracted and drag out over the months ahead. But I do think eventually this will end with someone stepping forward, a credible contender that they feel could take FIFA forward in a different direction. And I'm pretty sure eventually something will happen and he'll probably stand out.
You can do a lot of things with the surname Clink as well. The week is Clink.
Oh, wow.
Clinked in.
Wow.
Yeah. It's good fun, mate.
Mate, when you get married, mate, your missus.
Yeah, no chance of that, though, mate.
Yeah, no, really. Oh, man.
Oh, my word. I enjoyed Joel Business Beya, by the way.
Joel Business Beya, yeah. JBB.
Oh, I love that.
Yeah.
I love that. This is Transfer Insiders here with me, Olly Clink, alongside Joel Business Beya, JBB. Now we're going to turn our attention to Everton. Now they have done a bit of business in this window, but had a bit of a poor run of form at the end of last season. It looked at one point as if they were going to try and break into those European slots. Joining us now from the Toffee Blues fan channel is Ollie Hayes. Ollie, how you doing?
Not too bad, thank you, pal. Thanks for having me on. I appreciate it.
Yeah, no problem at all. When you look at some of the business so far, Hayden Hackney coming in from Middlesbrough, Championship Player of the Season last time out. Looks like Christian Norgard could be set to come in too. It feels like sensible business.
Yeah, definitely sensible business. I think the one you mentioned there, Christian Norgard, that's really sensible business for me. Arsenal only signed him last season for £10 million. So then the fact that we're bringing him for £7 million. Listen, I know he's not played a lot of football, but Everton fans will know that we've lost two big characters. We've lost Seamus Coleman, we've lost Idrissa Gana Gueye. And Idrissa Gana Gueye is the one I'll talk about the most. 37 years old. He's the most experienced in our midfield. So the fact that we've lost him, I think, is a big thing for the dressing room, but also that leadership in midfield. So to bring Norgard in, 32 years old, £7 million, I think it's really smart business. But also Hackney as well. You're investing in the future. So I think, yeah, as you say, smart business all round, really.
Yeah, I'm really impressed that someone bought Norgard off us, if I'm honest with you. So thank you very much.
Another great sale from Arsenal, isn't it?
I really appreciate that.
Great sale, £7 million.
No, I really do. I mean, I'm seeing the likes of, obviously, Tyreek George. He's now a permanent there at 24. What does he bring?
Pace, power. And listen, we've not seen him getting a goal or assist in an Everton shirt yet, but I think that's all to come. That's all to come with Tyreek George. The back end of last season, we were seeing glimpses of him putting in really good performances under David Moyes, but Moyes was just not really giving him those opportunities. There was sort of sporadic appearances off the bench. You'll probably all know that the Tottenham game on the final day, where we could have had the opportunity to send Spurs down, we didn't, unfortunately. Tyreek George changed the game for us there. He came on, he tested Kinski late on in that game and gave Tottenham something to think about. So we saw glimpses last season of Tyreek George being a good player for us, but just David Moyes just didn't really give him those opportunities. And I think it was touch and go whether we were going to actually sign Tyreek George. I think that was a big worry for a lot of Evertonians, as we weren't going to sign him. But obviously we've got him through the door now. We renegotiated that fee with Chelsea to turn the loan option into a buy. So I think that's really smart, positive business. 19 years old, he's still really young. He's got a lot of developing to do. But what better place than Everton? And I think he's going to get a lot more game time next season. Well, fingers crossed anyway.
That's great business by Chelsea again, isn't it? Like 0 goals, 0 assists, 24 million.
Yeah.
My goodness.
And Arsenal, what, 7 million you got? Well done.
Well,
lost 3 million on Norgard.
But that's pretty decent as well, to be fair.
Are you lot trying to tell me that we're just getting rinsed by the big six? Is that what you're just trying to tell me?
I'm not telling you that, mate. The Everton accountants are telling you that, for sure.
Now, what about the future of Iliman Ndiaye? There's been a couple of links to Saudi and some other clubs. Are you nervous about potentially losing him?
Nervous, yeah. I think you see the Saudi links, you see the Manchester United links, and the fact that Everton didn't get Europe the back end of last season, I think, is a big reason why Iliman Ndiaye's head has been turned. I think the only thing that Everton fans want now is just a swift resolution. We want to be able to replace him in the window, and if we can't do that, and we know we can't spend the money that we do recoup for him, I think that'll be a really dangerous thing for us going into next season. Am I worried about him leaving? Listen, one of my arguments is, and you're probably thinking he's absolutely crazy here, because I love Iliman Ndiaye. He's one of our best players, and every Evertonian loves Iliman Ndiaye and what he does on the pitch. But I think he scored 3 non-penalty goals last season in all competitions.
Come on.
And listen, I know. Iliman Ndiaye is a fantastic
brilliant.
player.
Honestly,
He's a
if
great
you
player.
offered him at Arsenal, I would take him in a heartbeat. That's a very good footballer right there.
He will get better playing with better players as well. That is one thing I will say with Iliman Ndiaye. So, yeah, I'd be gutted if we lost him. But the money that is being talked about, sort of figures of like 75, 80 million, you can see what that can do for a club. Look at Aston Villa all those years ago when they sold Jack Grealish for 100 million, and look at them now. It's transformed them. So, I think if we had to sell someone, and it was to be Iliman Ndiaye because his head's been turned and he sort of wants to try that new challenge. Show us the money.
Let's try that new money.
Let's just try and build a squad.
Let's try that new money.
But you'd have him at Arsenal, would you, Iliman Ndiaye?
100%. For me, I think he's so tricky, so difficult to play against. And look, you're probably thinking, "What do you mean? You're talking as if you've played against pros." Listen, mate, I got rinsed by Semenyo earlier on this week, right?
Did you?
Oh, mate, I'll show you.
Where was that?
Oh, it's on my Instagram. I'll show you. Yeah. Oh, mate, honestly, absolutely.
How rinsed are we talking? Well,
mate, it's gone viral. I'll send you the clip, mate.
Oh, God, I've probably seen it.
Bad. It's bad. But you're talking about players with the same ilk, really direct, really fast. I'm not saying that the barometer is Joel Beya, but I'm just saying he's a very good player. And
the way you're talking about Max Darman's goal against Everton, Ollie was talking about one of those be there moments. I was in that. Maybe you're saying that Max Darman's on that level, the way you're talking about that goal.
What Mikel Arteta needs to get you down the training ground, and any prospective new signing, if you can rinse Joel Beya, you can join Arsenal. There you go.
Mate, it could work, man, honestly. I've got a few of them lined up as well. I'll let you know off air.
Yeah, oh, cool.
Yeah,
all right. Well, looking forward to that for sure. Just wanted to ask you about David Moyes and how the fans are feeling about him at the moment, Ollie, because, it looked for some time last season as if it could have been very special, ending up in those European places. Didn't work out like that. How worrying was that form at the end of the season for you?
Oh, it was really worrying. The game after the Chelsea game, we went to Brentford away. We fought hard there, got a 2-2 draw, but then it just looked like we gassed out, really. Iliman Ndiaye was one of those players that looked like he gassed out. And then the only real performance between there and the end of the season was that 3-3 against Manchester City in that Monday Night Football. It was really worrying. And I think a lot of Everton fans were fed up with David Moyes towards the back end of last season. Me included. Listen, I go home and away watching Everton, and one of the most disappointing things was just seeing us roll over on the final day. But then it went deeper than that. There was different performances where we had the European places in our hands and we just completely let it slip. So I think the fact that the board and the committee of Everton have stuck by David Moyes, I think the Evertonians just have to trust that decision. But I think if he doesn't get off to a flying start this season, I think alarm bells are going to be ringing amongst the Everton fan base. And it's a shame, really, because he got us on the straight and narrow. He steadied the ship after Sean Dyche left the club massively. But if we don't get off to a flying start next season, I think alarm bells will be ringing amongst the Everton fans.
Another player you've been linked with is Liam Delap, who's had a tough time at Chelsea. Would that be a signing you'd be excited by? Would you like to see him come into that role?
This is another one that splits Everton fans right down the middle, splits opinion massively. For me, I think there's probably better options out there than Liam Delap. If we'd have signed him straight from Ipswich last season for that £30 million release clause, I think that would have been good business. But the figures that Chelsea are throwing about of sort of 35, 40 million for the amount of goals he scored last season, I think Everton can maybe go further afield and try and find a different striker or a different profile to try and bring in more goals. But I'd also be happy with keeping
35, 40? Sorry to cut you off there, but 35, 40 million, what is that nowadays? That's the equivalent of 10, 15 mil maybe, right?
That's big money though, Joel. That's big for a team like Everton. We're not, we've not got a lot of cash and Everton haven't got a lot of cash to spend this summer. So we need to be really savvy with where we do it. Right back is a massive position where we need to strengthen. Obviously, we've been linked with Alistair Johnston, Aaron Wan-Bissaka, Goel Adue, so many of these players where we've been linked with. That, for me, is priority number one. I don't think striker is a priority this window. I think it's something that will need addressing, but I don't think it's a priority. I think a number 6, which we've got, in Christian Norgard, and a right back and a left back are 2 massive positions which Everton need to strengthen in this window before we even think about spending resources and money on a striker.
Yeah, Norgard, really good bit of business, I think, there. Ollie, thank you very much indeed, mate.
Thanks for having me on, fellas.
There we go. Ollie Hayes there from the Toffee Blues fan channel. I cannot wait to firstly see you get rinsed by Semenyo, Joel. I cannot wait.
Sent the links to Connor, our producer.
Oh God, I can't wait.
Honestly, I said just in case the talkSPORT family want to see it.
Yeah, I mean, we're live on YouTube. We might be able to put this clip up for.
Well, I've given him the raw file and the link as well.
Fantastic.
So I own
Everyone
it, so
can see it.
Do with it.
And I don't want to hear this list of players that you're also going to get rinsed by.
Yeah. Let me know when you want to know.
Yeah. Okay, good stuff. Yeah. Just before that, we need to get an update from the Scottish Premier League. The champions Celtic in action against Dundee. Here's John Dunn.
Into the last 20 minutes, Celtic 1, Dundee 0. The goal from Benjamin Nygren 6 minutes into the second half after a brilliant Kieran Tierney cross. It was a goal that Celtic needed. There were moans and groans from the home crowd as the champions were stuttering on their first game in terms of trying to maintain that title. They've settled into things now since that goal. Yang with a 25-yarder. That stung the hands of Owen Goodman in the Dundee goal. Kieran Tierney with a shot on target. That was a comfortable save for Goodman. Dundee not out of this, though. A couple of changes. The pacey Ashley Hay off the bench. A solo pacey run. Austin Trusty able to keep up with him and making a block just before he got the shot away. Celtic comfortable, but Dundee asking questions as we go into the final 20 minutes. Celtic 1, Dundee 0.
John, thanks very much indeed. We're going to chat Chelsea after the break here on Transfer Insiders on talkSPORT.
Let's bring in Terry Gibson, Spanish football expert. Terry, always good to speak to you. Lots of news stories over in Spain at the moment. Let's start with that Marcus Rashford farewell post to Barcelona. Looks like his hopes of return to the Camp Nou are now very much over.
Yes, it does, and I think it was a blow to him when Anthony Gordon. It must have been kind of awkward when the England team met up for the World Cup when Anthony Gordon had already completed his move to Barcelona. Marcus Rashford's future was hanging in the air. And then they signed Karim Adeyemi. So it's it's not going to happen now for Marcus Rashford. I have to be honest, I'm really surprised. I thought it was a good value in terms of the transfer fee, and I thought his form last season was as good as you would expect. And he couldn't have done any more. He scored some important goals. He actually effectively got the goal that won them the league title. He was popular with his teammates and popular with the fans. So I'm surprised. Even when Anthony Gordon signed, I still thought there was a possibility that Rashford would still go, but the signing of Adeyemi has put a stop to that.
Is it just wages? Because obviously Anthony Gordon would command a much lower weekly salary than Rashford.
But he was £80 million. Rashford was 26. Yeah. So 26 million, slightly difference in their ages as well.
Corinthian Casuals are a team in the Combined Counties League Premier Division South. Despite that, they're one of the most important clubs in world football. Here's why. The club was formed in 1939 as the result of a merger between Corinthians FC and Casuals FC. Now, Corinthians FC were founded in the late 1800s when the FA's top brass were sick of getting pumped by Scotland every time they played them. As a result, a man called Nicholas Lane Jackson set up an amateur side which would bring in the best players who could all play for the national side. And it worked. It wasn't long before England were dominating the international fixtures they played, and it was largely down to Corinthians. In fact, in 1894 and 1895, they played consecutive games where Corinthians provided the entire England 11. But the thing is, the players refused to play professional football. They didn't believe in it. They wanted to spread the values of sportsmanship, competition, and played for the love of the game. It also helped that most of the players were Oxbridge graduates who didn't need the money. But instead of entering the league and cup competitions, they played exhibition football and toured the world, bringing the beautiful game with them. And it was this which spread the game throughout the world and made it so popular. Most famously, in 1910, they travelled to Brazil. And the locals in Sao Paulo were so impressed, they started their own team under the same name. Yes, the same Corinthians who won the FIFA Club World Cup in 2021, one of the biggest football teams in Brazil. Now, they were global superstars, and despite not being professional, Corinthians drew in the crowds. Everybody wanted to play them, everybody wanted to watch them. So much so, they regularly played the winners of the FA Cup in what eventually became the Community Shield, winning most of the time. They actually inflicted Manchester United's worst defeat, 11-3, a record which still stands to this day. Now, fast forward to today, Corinthian casuals still don't pay their staff or players. The ethos of sportsmanship is still at the heart of everything that they do. And even though they're a side in the lower leagues, if you make the trip to King George's Field in Tolworth just off the A3, you'll most likely bump into Brazilian Corinthians fans who often make the pilgrimage across the globe just to watch their founding team play.
Good evening, this is Transfer Insiders on talkSPORT with me, Olly Clink. I'm alongside Joel Beya, JBB.
That's right, we're back in action.
Did you give yourself that nickname, or did someone give you that nickname?
I gave myself that nickname, I have to say.
Can you give yourself a nickname? Is that?
There's no rules, I have to say.
There's no rules with Business Beya.
Nah, there's not.
No rules.
Nah.
Just pure money making.
Yeah.
Love it.
I'm trying to be careful what I say here. Yeah.
It's been an absolute pleasure so far tonight. We're with you until 10 p.m. A bit later, we'll have a look at that deal for Bruno Guimaraes, whether that is going to be going through. We'll also talk about West Ham a little bit later on. Looks like Amanda Staveley and her consortium are in talks to buy a 25% stake in the club, which could be very exciting news for West Ham fans, and it's piqued the interest of Business Beya there. Yeah. So we'll have a little chat about them. Of course, Staveley involved very much with my club, Newcastle. But first, Joel, I want to have a quick chat about Chelsea. One of the stories today, Trevor Chalobah is going to join Como for around 31 million. It's another decent sell, this from Chelsea, isn't it? I mean, it's a good figure, isn't it?
Brilliant stuff. For a player that they clearly haven't wanted properly for the last few years. They've shipped him off on loan to Palace, he's come back, they barely used him when he came back. He's in and around the England squad, of course.
I mean, he managed to get that call up to the World Cup. That looks a bit embarrassing now, doesn't it?
What, to who?
For Tuchel, I think. Given that, and the only reason I say that is that Lewis Hall was at home, Trent Alexander-Arnold was at home. Do you know what I mean? Like, and now...
Maybe. I just don't know what he was doing anyway. I don't know if that was the embarrassment. I mean, if that's the embarrassment, then...
Yeah, we're over it though, aren't we?
Yeah, it's crazy. It's crazy.
Yeah, absolutely. But then obviously when you look at some of their incomings, there has been a shift in that transfer policy. The Chelsea pensioners.
Yeah.
Jordan Henderson has signed on a 2-year deal. Looks like Welbeck's potentially joining the club too after scoring 13 goals last season. And
he's joined, mate. Didn't you see him in a kit? You said potentially.
Sorry, yeah. Welbeck's already joined. Yeah, sorry.
Yeah. And look, and now Henderson
and Henderson announced too. Yeah, 2-year deal for him. So look, there has been that shift, and I feel like the say that Xabi Alonso is having is there to see, isn't it? Because even if you look at the fact they were linked with Granit Xhaka a bit earlier on in the window, they got rebuffed by Sunderland, obviously, but there still looked to be that influence from Alonso, because obviously he had him at Leverkusen. A bit earlier on, you said that the challenges you were worried about the most were Manchester City and Manchester United in terms of this title race, but have I talked you round to Chelsea a bit here?
Given that the strength of them.
It was hot earlier on. I have to say, I've been outside the whole day and I wasn't thinking straight. But after talking with you, I have to admit, Ollie, listen, your surname's very convincing. Do you know what I mean? When someone's clinging around, you know what I mean? They can convince you into anything. And I have to say, I think you're spot on. Usually we're online and we're on the radio and we like to be wrong and strong because it makes conversation. But I think you're right. After thinking about it, I just don't see how with one game a week, these guys can't be a problem. Really smart transfers as well. Lacroix, Morgan Rogers, even the likes of Quenda, who everybody's looking forward to seeing, from Sporting CP. And then, Danny Welbeck, Henderson and whoever else that they've got in their Chelsea system that we're going to be introduced to during the course of the season.
How disappointed are you as an Arsenal fan to miss out on Morgan Rogers? It's a big fee, £117 million, but I know there's this talk of Arsenal potentially holding out for Vinny Jr. I just don't see it happening, to be honest. And then you look at some of the options around now. We were talking about maybe Marcus Rashford going there, but have Arsenal maybe missed a trick by missing out on Morgan Rogers and letting him go to Chelsea?
It's not the player himself. It's how we're going about our business. You would think that after winning the league, if we publicly say we want someone, I expect us to go and get that player because we've won the league. We are the champions of England. We've got to the final of the Champions League, semi-final the year before. We're supposed to have those big cojones and we're supposed to be able to pick who we want. And currently, that's not happening, mate. That's two players now, two big profile players that we've wanted to get, and it's not looking good, man.
No, it's not. It's not. Another player, and this is quite interesting actually, and the reaction of Chelsea fans has been interesting too, is Mykhailo Mudryk, who's back from his suspension. He's going to be joining back up now. There are links that he'll go maybe to their sister club Strasbourg too. But I'd love to hear from Chelsea fans on that. 03717 22 3344. But also from Chelsea fans about that idea of being dark horses at the moment. I mean, the other thing we should talk about is this £10 million fine that they got and a 2-year suspended transfer ban. This was all linked to what was going on before Clear Lake took charge. It was under Roman Abramovich. I mean, does this make a bit of a mockery of it all, Joel? Seriously, with the amount of charges that were up against them, they're getting away with a £10 million fine and this suspended transfer ban. I mean, I heard them talking a bit earlier on. It was Alex Crook and Kevin Nolan on talkSPORT about, whether you strip the titles off them. I never think that that's something you could end up doing, but is there an asterisk now on some of the achievements Chelsea had during that time? Because look at the amount of charges they had against them. And they've been found guilty. It's just that the punishment might not match the crime.
I'm so passionate about this, you have no idea. I think it's just outrageous how they get away with all of this stuff. I really do. I think everybody knows it. It's clear to see. And then on top of that, you got Chelsea fans that make it out as if it's a joke when you speak to them. And then they joke about selling the hotel and whatever they do. It's all dodgy business. All of this, oh no, we declared it, so it should be fine. Like, no, you've committed crimes. You should be punished.
What should their punishment have been? And just to make it clear,
ban them, strip the titles, do what
relegation.
You gotta do. Why not? Because if you look at poor Everton suffering twice in the space of 2 years, Chelsea running around still doing what they're doing. What they're probably doing now looks dodgy. 8-year contract. Oh, yeah, just figuring out how to work around the loop and all that rubbish. Listen, man, something needs to be done. Something needs to be done quickly. Not just for them, for City as well. Do you know what I feel like? I feel like it's almost as if...
To be fair, City's charges are alleged. I know it's taken a long time, but they're alleged charges.
I'll give it a break, man. Honestly. Did they seem alleged to you? Do they?
Well, I'm just stating the facts. They're alleged.
I don't speak for talkSPORT Radio, obviously, if that's what you're trying to protect. I speak for Joel Business Beya. And Joel Business Beya is saying that something needs to be done ASAP. Like more than what's being done now.
Okay. By the way, Joel, a bit earlier on, and this is going to be particularly brilliant for people watching on YouTube, which you can find us on right now. You mentioned that you came up against Antoine Semenyo. What was this for, by the way? What were you up to?
I was just doing stuff on my YouTube channel. Really. So I just came up with whilst I was away in sunny LA during the course of the World Cup, I was like, I should come up against Premier League players to see how good I am. And so yeah, I don't know. I had a sambuca. Like there was a lot going on.
How many?
Enough, enough to think I could take on Semenyo.
All right.
So basically, I just thought, let me come up with a series, see what players are doing pre-season. It's actually something that I've come up with called Access, where I just see what's going on really, and. I spoke to Coach Sol, who he does one-on-one with players. Semenyo's one of his clients.
Wow.
So I said, "Bring me down. Let me see if I can hang." He goes, "Yeah, sure, come down." And you could see him training, practicing, did really well. Him and his brother and his mates, really good guys.
Just so we know, what's your level of football, Joe? What are we talking here?
Oh, Sunday League 20 years ago. Really good Sunday League.
Are you key player in the Sunday League side or what?
At the time.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Now I've lost like 7 yards of pace.
Okay.
But I still fancied myself.
Right. All right.
And
are you there? I mean, when you're watching someone like Semenyo up close like that and getting these training sessions, etc., like how impressive is it for you? You know, when you're actually kind of involved in the session and then genuinely taking him on. Did you kind of witness how ridiculously talented some of these players are?
It's either how impressive is he or how disgraceful am I? See, at one point he was doing a drill where he was just a finishing drill. The ball's coming in from the left-hand side to the right-hand side. And then for whatever reason, they needed to get the left forward to come and be a part of the drill. So then Antoine Semenyo goes, "Joel, can you whip the ball in with your left?"
Yeah,
so
sure.
I could run in. I said, "No." He goes, "What? You can't whip it in with your left?" It's me, "No, I can't." And he's just like,
"Can you even whip it in with your right?"
Barely, and so anyway, eventually, I did one with my right and then I gave up. But then we did the 1v1 and you really want to see how tight they are, how fast are they? And look, I'll be honest with you, mate. We all know players that are good and fast at running past anyone. But what these pro players do is everything's perfect. So, for example, when they knock it past you, it's not just the fact that they can knock it past you, it's the distance at which they knock it past you.
Yeah.
It's just enough to make you think you're going to get there, but then really and truly you have no chance.
Well, talking of that, let's see the might of Antoine Semenyo up against Joel Beya. If you are watching on YouTube, if not, I'm going to take great delight in describing this to you too. But here we go. Here's Antoine Semenyo. Oh, a little rainbow flick over Business Beya. Business Beya not having a chance there.
Yeah.
Oh,
no, wait.
my
Let him pass it. Look at that finish. Look at that finish.
I tell you what.
I blame the goalkeeper for that, by the way. I blame the keeper. Look
so you know, this shot is perfect.
I really thought I was going to block it. Oh!
In the top left corner.
Circle.
Oh my word!
Horrible.
Joel's just so you know, Joel is all over the shop in these videos. Now getting a talking to from Antoine Semenyo. What was he saying to you there?
Just hit it on target.
Yeah.
There we go, and I did.
Well done, Joel.
Great,
well done.
great.
But honestly, yeah, you see the quality there,
mate. Honestly, he's pinging them.
Yeah.
Top bins.
Who else is coming up in your series then? Are you revealing that yet? Are we getting an exclusive here?
I've got a few players. I've got a few Spurs players I'm talking to at the moment. Got a couple United players as well, to be fair.
Interesting.
So we're talking first team as well. So yeah, really good stuff.
If you want a proper footballer to turn up, I'm only a phone call away, mate.
Where do you play?
On the bench, mate.
Yeah, I thought so.
Not a chance, mate.
Oh, really?
No, absolutely. I've turned like an oil tanker, mate. I've turned like 4 oil tankers, to be honest. Anyway, let's get a quick update from the game going on in the Scottish Premier League, approaching the closing stages. What's going on, John Dunn?
We've got 3 minutes of normal time remaining. Celtic 1, Dundee 0. The goal by Benjamin Negron just after half-time, giving the champions that lead. Celtic have come close to getting a second. Casper, who again, his 4th chance, the record signing from Bodo Glimt. This time on the stretch, 6 yards out from close range, steered inches wide, but again he really should have a debut goal. Callum McGregor, the skipper, has smacked one against the post, but Dundee have come so close to getting an equaliser. Ball in from the right, Alan Forrest, Ashley Hay, free header 12 yards out, looked like he got everything right, angled it brilliantly towards the bottom corner, but flying save from Sissolo in the Celtic goal, keeping that one at bay and keeping Celtic in front. 2 minutes of normal time remain. Celtic 1, Dundee 0.
John, thanks very much indeed. We'll be back with John for full time in that game. The champions leading into the latter stages there in the Scottish Premier League. Okay, in just a moment here on Transfer Insiders, we'll chat a bit of West Ham with a potential arrival of Amanda Staveley, who wants to buy a 25% stake in the club.
It's an amazing story, actually. It's almost a forgotten man. This is about Mykhailo Mudryk, who has been allowed to come back to football immediately for Chelsea. So you'll remember that this is a man who had a 4-year ban handed down to him for breaching anti-doping rules. He's not played since November 2024 after what was described as an adverse finding of meldonium, which is a banned substance in his system. He appealed against that sentence to the Court of Arbitration for Sport, who have today said that because he accepted breaking anti-doping rules, they have agreed that the time served already is enough of a punishment. So Mykhailo Mudryk is available to play for Chelsea with immediate effect.
Can he even still play football? Is he good enough? He's not played football for 3 years.
Nearly 2 years. Well, Chelsea have released quite a long statement today, obviously welcoming the decision. They've talked about what a difficult period of time it has been for Mykhailo Mudryk. And I think this is the important paragraph here in the statement. We welcome the acknowledgement that advances in the applicable scientific reporting standards for more reliable testing mean that had Misha's sample been analysed under today's technical requirements,
This is Transfer Insiders here on talkSPORT with me, Olly Clink. I'm alongside Joel Beya this evening with you all the way up until 10 o'clock before the sports bar takeover. We should chat a little bit about West Ham preparing for life in the Championship, but it could be all change at the top. Amanda Staveley and her consortium are in talks with the club to potentially buy a 25% stake at the club. Amanda Staveley, of course, was involved with my club, Newcastle United, involved in the takeover of them too. Joining us now is Charlie Quirk, a big West Ham fan, actor and presenter. How you doing, Charlie?
I'm good. Good evening, lads. Thanks for having me on.
Yeah, no problem at all. I mean, firstly, how do you feel about this news that Amanda Staveley could be getting involved with your Hammers?
I mean, it can only be good news. Obviously, you're more than aware of the problems we've had at the top, recently with David Sullivan and the allegations. So, Daniel Kretinsky was meant to become major shareholder in June, buying 16% more on top of his 27%. And that fell through. That's all gone quiet. So maybe this is the reason that she's now getting involved. And I mean, what they did at your club, Ollie, I think from what I saw was only a good injection of money and a start of a rebuild, which has now crashed. But I don't think it can't be a bad thing. Not for us anyway.
Well, I tell you what, one of the main things as well was the communication side. And the way that Amanda Staveley and her husband, Mehrdad Quddusi, sold the project to Newcastle to a lot of players. When they were there, that's when Kieran Trippier came in and Bruno Guimaraes came in that January window and some of the other signings that followed suit. And since the departure from the club, look, some people might look at it and say that they did make a couple of mistakes in the way that they spent the money and Newcastle have had to pay for that given the PSR rules, etc. But at the same time, that they have felt like figures that have been missed at Newcastle. So I kind of only see this as positive news for West Ham. How are you feeling about the head of the new season then in the Championship? Do you feel as if West Ham, of course, will be among the favourites?
I mean, you have to put us among the favourites because of obviously being relegated. You immediately go in as one of the favourites to return. But I haven't seen much movement in the transfer window. Do you know what I mean? There's been a lot of outgoings. We've obviously made a lot of money. which is probably why we might be getting outpriced for some of our targets now that we've got 150 mil sitting in the bank. So we start next Friday against Portsmouth in the Cup. So I think it's going to be a real shock to the system, or a real sort of a settler back into Championship life. But Jared Bowen isn't Roy the Rovers. He can't do it all on his own. I'm sure he's going to have a hell of a season, but yeah, I think we still need to bring some in, and maybe that's maybe the Staveley effect. That's what we've been waiting for. If this has been going on longer than we thought, to get some top class targets, which maybe they're all trying to get and failing at the moment.
Just hold that thought there, Charlie. Let's get full time in the Scottish Premier League. Celtic against Dundee with John Dunn.
Celtic won, Dundee 0 after Rangers drew and Hearts lost the Champions kick-off. Their first game of the title defence with a victory. The goal came 6 minutes into the second half. Benjamin Nygren, who scored 21 last season, a header from a Kieran Tierney cross that in the end decided this one. Record signing Casper, who from Bodo Glimt had 4 glorious opportunities, really should have had a debut goal but couldn't take them. Dundee certainly caused problems, big chances in each half. Charlie Riley in the first, and in the second half Ashley Zay's header was brilliantly saved by Sinisalo. Celtic win, Dundee will find positives despite defeat. It's Celtic 1, Dundee 0.
John, thanks very much indeed. Just going back to Charlie Quirk, actor, presenter, West Ham United fan. Charlie, just on Jared Bowen there staying, as much as the likes of Somerville and Fernandez have obviously left the club, keeping Jared Bowen, I mean, that is huge. He might even be, when you go back through it, in terms of players in their prime being in the Championship, he could be one of the best ever to be in that division.
Well, 100%. I mean, his record doesn't lie. He very nearly missed out on the England, on the England squad, I think, and maybe potentially should have been there.
100%.
But being relegated doesn't help you. But absolutely, Ollie, I don't see why at the end of this season he can't get the best numbers that maybe anyone's got in the Championship. But that's a lot of goals and assists to score. But I think the quality that he possesses, and to keep him is like getting a new signing. Do you know what I mean? Because I think we thought, and rightly so, he might have been the first one out the door to move on to pastures new and continue his career. But yeah, the fact that he's staying for this season is, it's remarkable, and it puts a stamp on the team, and that's what you want from a captain, to go, look lads, I'm staying. Let's all give it one more push. Carlton Cole did it, and he went down as a legend because he did drop down to the Championship and got us back up. So yeah, Jared Bowen, it's I don't think anyone expected it, so good on him.
No, I'll have him at my football club any day, mate. In
By
fact,
the sound of it, Joel, you'll have everyone.
Mate, that right-hand side is... right-hand side is...
Jared Bowen.
Have you noticed the trend? Do you know what I mean? Am I saying something without saying something? You've got Portsmouth, which is my second hometown this weekend. I went uni at Portsmouth, by the way, up the Pompey. What do you reckon this weekend, man? Do you reckon you got what it takes to get the victory?
Yeah, do you know what? Weirdly, my dad would like me to mention this. That's my second team as well, because my granddad was in the Navy there. So yeah, we've got a little soft spot for Portsmouth. But it links in with the Freddie Potts moving as well. It's a shame he might be moving on, but yeah, I think even with the team we've got to have enough to show what we can do. Our defence has looked really strong. Keeping Juve so far, I think Kilman's going to have a resurgence. Centre half, and Mavropanos is like a new player last 6 months. So I think we're going to be tight at the back. That's what Nuno likes, doesn't he? He's always likes to stop conceding. But it's going to be an interesting test. Who knows what West Ham will turn up? Really,
is Wan-Bissaka back for that? Or
he is, but there is talks of Aaron Wan-Bissaka leaving. I think the price tag is about 25 million, which I think he's still worth every penny of that. Walker Peters kept him out of the team, to be honest, towards the end of the season, and he's been great. But I think Wan-Bissaka might not be back starting just yet, if at all, to be honest. But yeah, look, I love Tati Castellanos, him in the Championship, along with Jared Bowen. I know it's not Roy the Rovers, like I said, but I think those two could cause some serious headaches to some defenders.
He'll be decent, Charlie. By the way, just to carry on the Pompey loving, it's where I was born and was raised for a bit. So yeah, lots of love for Pompey. I hope they beat you. Well, where do you think the priority is then in terms of strengthening, Charlie, in this window, if they have got a bit more time to bring in some reinforcements?
It has to be creativity first and foremost. Do you know what I mean? I think we've got Ward-Prowse back in the team is great. I think it's great for the dressing room, but losing Fernandes and losing Somerville, obviously, and Kudus even a year before that, we haven't really got that spark apart from Jared. Do you know what I mean? He can't do it every game. So I would like to see some sparks brought in from abroad, even a Maverick. West Ham have always loved a Maverick. Do you know what I mean? We're looking at a winger from Lazio, and our past form of buying people from Lazio hasn't gone too badly if you think about Paolo Di Canio. So fingers crossed this is him reincarnated. But yeah, we need that. We need another centre half, I think, and possibly, like I said, a right back if Wan-Bissaka goes. But hopefully some of the young kids will get a go. You know, Lewis Orford's a great player, George Urphy. I do like Mohamedou Kante in the midfield. He's a real one to watch this year. But like I said, boys, I'm excited, but who knows with what we got, what's going to turn up. But
just enjoy it, mate. That's all I can say.
That's it. Proper football, no VAR, most 3 o'clock kickoffs on a Saturday. I mean, I do miss the Thursday nights under the lights in Europe, but that's a long time ago now. But yeah.
Charlie, just out of interest, with someone like Amanda Staveley coming into the club, what she did at Newcastle very early on is very much listen to the fans in terms of what they wanted off the pitch, whether that was small things like, you know, taking down the Sports Direct signs, etc., just improving some of the facilities around the stadium. Obviously, the stadium's been a huge sticking point for West Ham United fans. If you could sit down with her, what do you think would be top of the agenda in terms of how to improve the experience at that stadium?
Reduce the price of a pint, first off. I think that would go down well with the fans, definitely. But make it more of a home, make it more of a fortress. But honestly, Ollie, just to be listened to for once would be nice. Even if, you know, a consortium goes to her, one of the fan-led ideas, and they implement it straight away. Do you know what I mean? She has said in one of her comments there'll be big property changes. So, you know, there's always talks about owning the stadium and making it, you know, West Ham. But I mean, there's been talks about bringing the old badge back or a new reformation of the original Bowling Castle on the badge. So something like that, I think. I know it'll take a few years with designs and stuff, but anything like that or any match day experience just to make it feel like home again.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Honestly, yeah. And I tell you what, she delivered on quite a few of those things for Newcastle fans. So like I say, could be a big bit of positivity if she comes in at
I have
West
to say,
Ham.
her and her husband, they did look very positive when they went into Newcastle, and it did look like they put a new atmosphere and energy into the place. So if she can come and bring that into, you know, upstairs, which we've needed that for a long while, we've needed a change, then that can only be a good thing as well.
Yeah,
to be
absolutely. Charlie, thanks very much indeed, mate.
Always appreciated, lads. Thank you so much.
There we go. Charlie Quirk, actor and presenter and West Ham United fan. By the way, some breaking news tonight. Fulham have made a signing from Real Madrid. Joel, who do you think it is?
Is it that Garcia kid?
It is. I thought you were going to say Bellingham.
Sorry. 20. No, to be fair, I thought it was already done because one of my best mates, he's a Fulham fan and he's been banging on about it for a while. And apparently that Arbeloa guy's got them doing mad like pre-season training twice a day. So he's really on it.
There we go. Gonzalo Garcia coming in for Fulham. There we go. There's business, Bay. Already knew about it.
Mate,
there he is.
I tried to get Iwobi for the one-on-one thing.
Oh, did you?
Yeah, he said no.
Why? Was he scared?
Nah, no, he said Arbeloa. No, he said Arbeloa's got him training twice a day.
Oh, really?
So on his days off, he's not doing anything.
He hasn't even got time to.
Yeah, no, literally. I said, okay, mate, that's fine. Yeah, he ain't got time.
I love that. Yeah. He should find time, by the way, given how easy it was for Semenya.
Yeah.
Oh my word! Don't worry about it, Alex. You just walk past him.
Yeah.
This is Transfer Insiders here on talkSPORT. In just a moment, we'll get the latest on the Bruno Guimaraes deal.
Take a very quick call on Trent Alexander-Arnold. Oliver is a Liverpool fan. Morning, Oliver.
Morning, how you doing, lad? You all right?
Yeah.
All right,
really
Oliver.
Good, yeah. Would you like to see Trent back?
All good. I'd absolutely love to see Trent back. I think Mo Salah missed him very much last season. Obviously, Salah had a pretty poor season last season, but when he come back with Real Madrid, it was very frosty, and I just think I think the damage is being done, to be honest with you. But I would love to see him back in a Liverpool shirt, yeah.
Look, there's no doubt. Nobody can doubt his quality. On the ball, he's as good as anything, anywhere.
He was winning games from right back. I mean, obviously the Barcelona game in 2019, that cross, and then I think he was very, very important when we won the league with Slot as well. So much quality, from right back.
No doubt about it.
Yeah, brilliant. I think a lot of Liverpool fans would share that view. They'd all love to see Trent back. Oliver, thanks very much indeed.
Maybe Jeff as well. Oh, thanks, Oliver. You wonder, though, whether the player,
This is Transfer Insiders on talkSPORT with me, Olly Clink. I'm alongside Arsenal fan and broadcaster Joel Beya. This is your whistle-stop tour of the latest transfer talk from today. Let's start with Bruno Guimaraes, Newcastle captain. I'm nervous about this one as a Newcastle fan. It seems the move is getting ever closer. We can hear from talkSPORT's Ben Jacobs now, who gave us an update.
Newcastle perspective, they've rejected a formal offer below their valuation. Arsenal's perspective, they're finalising this deal. So when we report it, it's naturally quite sensitive. My understanding is that talks are advanced. Optically, from Newcastle's perspective, it's great to have Bruno Guimaraes back with them in La Manga in Spain, because this is not an Alexander Isak situation. The player has never refused to train or be there, but he did delay his travel, and one of the reasons why is because, again, this deal is close. Newcastle United fans might not like to hear it, but that's the reality according to our information on talkSPORT. And I sense this is going to get done and get agreed relatively quickly now, and Arsenal may have to, of course, make one more formal bid or just finesse the one that's already on the table. There's ways of rejecting a bid out of hand with no encouragement or engagement, or alternatively saying it's not quite there but you're not far off. And according to my information, it's more the latter than the former. And I still fully expect Bruno Guimaraes to be an Arsenal player, and sooner rather than later. And I don't think that would be a terrible thing, because within Newcastle, as much as they say they want to keep, there's a price at which they'll sell. And the sooner this gets resolved, the sooner they can spend some of that money, and the sooner Matthias Jasler can understand who's in and who's out.
Oh, Joe, it's a tough one to take, this one. It's a tough one to take as a Newcastle fan because, they've already lost Tonali, they've already lost Gordon, Eddie Howe has left his role too. But losing your captain is a very tricky one. And I know you're very excited as an Arsenal fan. Look, if I'm trying to put a positive spin on all of it, new man coming in, have a complete refresh, start of a new era, start of a new cycle. And Bruno's getting his move and he can move on, in my opinion. But what I'd quite like, to be honest, is just for this to get resolved now. Just get it all done and get it sorted. Look at you giggling next week.
Because what it is, I just don't understand. You knew this was coming. So all of this trying to put a positive spin on it and trying to make yourself feel better, just live life, man. Just live life. It's happening. Don't really care if the initial bid has been...
I learned that after the Isak one. Yeah. I think as fans, we convinced ourselves that because of the messaging from the club, we felt that Isak was never for sale, but eventually that price always comes. And
to be honest, it does feel like that kind of situation once again.
Do you know what the issue is?
What?
And I'm going to be upsetting all the Newcastle fans.
Not for the first
right
time.
about now. You guys think you're bigger than what you are.
Oh, come on.
You are. Like, you really think that a player would turn down moving to Arsenal and stay at Newcastle?
The only thing is, right, firstly, he picked Newcastle over Arsenal when he first joined us. So yeah.
Were we really going in for him then?
That.
Really?
But also, I can see why he's doing it, mainly because everyone's jumping ship. But mainly because everyone's jumping ship.
Yeah, no, because we're a bigger club, mate. We're a bigger club. He's going to come and win trophies, and he's going to get paid more money. All of this jumping, don't matter if people were leaving or not, mate. He's one of those players. He's not Vinny Jr. He's not one of these players that, you know, we're struggling to get at the moment. We're above him. We're above you. We're at that level where if we want him, here, you, come. He's coming.
Yeah. I love chatting to fans of Big Six clubs. It's always really fun. Yeah.
If we say jump, he says how high in Brazilian. Which is
but you can see why it's tough to take then, can't you? And I think that the issue is that I think it's one thing when someone's joining the champions. I do think that is a different thing. It's when you're seeing someone like Tonali ending up at Spurs, mate.
Yeah,
that one is.
But that's cash though, isn't it? Like 100
mil.
That 100 mil.
And also you have to reference how much the rules have played a part here. You talk about wages, etc. You know that has been so difficult for Newcastle to offer because of the amount of restrictions that have been in place. You can't deny that. So as much as we can sit here and go Arsenal, the bigger club, etc.
That's good business though.
Mate, you keep saying that, but yes, we're bringing in good money, but we need to start making a few more signings. We need to, you can't just sell all your stars.
You can't have it all, though, innit?
Yeah, but you can't just sell all of them, can you?
But you can't.
You have to keep some.
But you can't have it all.
Well, apparently Arsenal can. Apparently they can just click their fingers. Yeah, because that's how you got Morgan Rogers, isn't it? That's how you got Morgan Rogers. Oh no, wait, he went to Chelsea.
Yeah, no,
so,
I know. But mate, we'll see. Give it a week's time, mate. I'm either going to be crying in your arms or celebrating.
Yeah. I'll definitely be crying in your arms if Bruno does eventually go. Let's focus on another of their targets then, Arsenal, who can apparently get anyone. Real Madrid's Vinicius Junior has reported back to training after World Cup duty. Here's Ben Jacobs with the latest on where we are with Vinicius.
Again, some are billing this as Real Madrid could just keep and then the player could leave on a free transfer in 2027. Maybe Vinny Jr. is willing to do that because then he can take his pick of clubs and come back to Arsenal or Saudi Arabia in a year's time. But Real are putting pressure on sign or we're going to sell you. And from Arsenal's perspective, they're waiting for a counter. So a lot of people ask me, aren't Arsenal just being used as leverage? And isn't this going to end with Vinny Jr. signing a new deal? Well, of course, maybe. We can't discount that very strong possibility. But key point is this is not Arsenal waiting for Real Madrid to speak to Vinny Jr. about a renewal. They've made their offer. They've pitched almost first. And now with that leverage, the ball is back in Real Madrid's court. And Real want an answer from Vinny Jr. also this week. Are you going to extend? If they get it, then Arsenal are going to be left disappointed. But if they don't because they can't agree terms, then Arsenal are going to start formal negotiations with Real Madrid. And that's what I mean about this option of just Real keeping him, doing nothing, trying to get him to extend when the window shuts, and then running the risk of Vinny leaving on a free in summer 2027. None of that is in Real's thinking. And then although it is true Jose Mourinho just wants to keep Vinny at all costs, Florentino Perez is clear. It's either a sale, most likely to Arsenal, or a renewal. And now Real are working this week after, not before, the Arsenal offer to try and get that renewal in place. So it's a bit of a nervous wait for Arsenal, and Vinny Jr. is expected to give his final answer at some point this week.
It's just massive club Arsenal being used as leverage, isn't it?
You know what? Where are you getting this from?
Huge. Yeah, huge club at Arsenal. Leverage. Just a few extra zeros on that contract. Let's use Arsenal. Why not? Let's just use Arsenal. You're not going to get him, are you?
Give it a week. Give it a week's time.
Really?
I'm going to be here dancing on this table, celebrating because we've signed Vinny Jr.
Do you actually think that, genuinely?
I think it can happen. I think there's twists and turns. after we monitor the situation. I'm telling you.
Really?
I'm telling you, man.
What, you've been monitoring it, is it?
Yeah, we're monitoring it, but I reckon we're going to surprise you guys.
Is there a bit of a worry with Arsenal just kind of sat there waiting in the wings? Surely the thing is they'll be after other targets. You know, it's not as simple as Arsenal just waiting there and seeing if they can sign Vinicius. They will have plenty of other targets that they can go for if not.
Definitely, but also we don't need a whole new makeup and a whole new squad.
You do need to bolster your front line, surely.
Maybe, but even if we don't, so what?
I don't know, man.
We can still retain the title with
what you've got right now.
If we don't make a single signing as of today, we can still win the title easily.
Where would you rank Arsenal's front line right now in the Premier League?
Probably 5th. Yeah, but it's not about just the front line. It's the squad.
Can't rely on corners forever, mate.
No, but who said anything about corners, mate? We've got a good squad. We've got a really good functional squad, a good defence. You're talking about corners. We've got the best defensive, record in the league.
Your best attack is half fit, isn't he? Let's be honest. Your best attack is half fit. But I know you don't really rate Gyökeres. I don't really rate Gyökeres.
I didn't say that. No, I mean, we've got Max Dowman, young Max,
16-year-old.
Yeah, exactly. It don't matter if you're good enough, you're old enough.
All right. What about in terms of other options?
Yeah.
Would you take Marcus Rashford?
Yeah, if he's available, 100%. Like, I think the only difference is you said it earlier on in the show, is that because we've been linked with Vinny Jr., if for whatever reason the Vinny transfer doesn't happen,
anyone's a drop off,
which I doubt. If it doesn't happen, then it kind of looks as if you've gone down.
Yeah, been used as leverage, I think would be the phrase, wouldn't it?
But we're not being used as leverage.
Are you not?
Nah.
What do you mean?
Come on, man.
How are you not?
I think it really depends on the current situation. I think if Vinny's able to sort out his contractual situation with Real Madrid, then he signs. If they can't sort out the image rights, because there's a lot of image rights involved, you might not know. You're not privy to that.
Do you think I've got image rights?
I don't think anybody wants your image rights, mate.
I have to pay people to give them my image.
Oh my gosh.
Anyway.
Yeah.
So yeah, you're not being used as leverage, even though you're just waiting in the wings for Vinny to sign a new contract.
Definitely not leverage, mate.
Right, okay. What is it then? What is it? How would you describe it, business player? How would you describe it?
Put me on the spot here. I think it's a situation.
What are Arsenal doing?
It's a situation. Unbelievable. It's a situation. What else are we talking about today?
Yeah, well, there we go. Right, okay, all right. Out of 10, how Joel's crying. Out of 10, how much do you think this could happen?
8 out of 10.
8 out of 10 that Vinny joins?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
8 out of 10.
You're not linked this strongly for no reason.
Unless you're being used as leverage. Some more breaking news, by the way. Fulham have made another signing. How busy are they this evening? This time it's Cesar Palacios.
Oh, wow.
The midfielder joins from Real Madrid Castilla and joins Gonzalo Garcia through the door. So Alvaro Arbeloa clearly using his Real Madrid links. Right, I've been using Joel as leverage all evening. We're with you until 10 o'clock. In just a moment, we'll be chatting a bit about Liverpool's business so far.
Noticed that on social media, Curtis Jones liked the posts where Inter Milan announced Stones as a player.
He's acting like a spoiled brat. I saw his behaviour last night on the pitch.
This was after the friendly.
Yeah, I understand the frustration that you should have got the armband. He's been, he's a scouser. He's been there 20 years. Blah 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 blah. But to act like that and for it to carry on, because it went on for about 2 minutes.
Was it him and Dominic Szoboszlai?
Yeah, he was having a go at Szoboszlai, who handed the armband over, I think, to Tsimikas. Mm-hmm. And I believe Curtis Jones had the temper tantrum over that. It's just like that behaviour can't happen. Not from a graduate from the academy. He's too into himself. So if he
But
wants
is
to
the
go,
source of his frustration not so much the captain's armband in a pre-season friendly, it's the fact he wants to leave, is it?
yeah, okay, so he wants to leave. Well, okay, now Liverpool have to get the best deal for the football club. That's how it works, okay? You don't get to throw your toys out of the pram and do it slowly, knowing him, and then act like that. I just don't understand it. You're playing for one of the biggest football clubs in the world. You came through the system. Behave. Stop. That's all eyes are on you. That's not behind closed doors. That might go on in training and all those things, but you don't want to see that going on actually for millions of people to watch.
And it's not great for Andoni Iraola, fresh in the manager.
No, and I'm sure he'll move past that. And I think Szoboszlai was asked in the press conference, and he didn't even talk about it. But it's just you hate seeing stuff like that. I really do. I think it's so petulant. Do you know what I mean? So, and then when you're liking Inter Milan's post, okay, we get it. You want to go to Inter Milan, probably last 5 minutes out.
This is Transfer Insiders with me, Olly Clink. I'm alongside Joel Beya. We're continuing our whistle-stop tour of today's transfer. Let's chat about Liverpool. The Bradley Barcola links continue to linger around. That would be a very exciting signing for them. Liverpool reporter Matt Addison can give us the latest.
Absolutely, on the last point, Liverpool are in need of something in that position. And I think that probably doesn't help the price tag, because whether it's Barcola or somebody else that you go for, the selling club know that there is a desperate need to get somebody in who plays in that way, who has speed and has pace. And obviously we know Mohamed Salah left at the end of last season. Obviously it wouldn't be a direct comparison in terms of replacing one with the other, but Liverpool do need bodies. I think Bradley Barcola is probably the best of the realistically attainable options on the market. I think that's probably why Liverpool will look at him. By all accounts, they looked at him last summer with all of these things, similar to Florian Wirtz. They've been aware of him for a number of years. They obviously think that there's something there. The question, I think, is just that number. 100 million. PSG would say that they want considerably more than that. Liverpool would probably rather pay a little bit less. If they can come to an agreement, that would be a huge thing. But obviously, the clock is ticking. There's less than a month now left. And Bradley Barcola is still a PSG player at the moment. I think the thing that gives me a little bit of hope from a Liverpool perspective is that PSG seem to be looking at a couple of players. They seem to have gone for a couple of wingers and forwards who play in the position that Barcola does. Surely the logical thing would be, if they get a couple of those in, then maybe that's the opening for Barcola to leave.
As well as Barcola, Matt told us where the club are currently at with Cody Gakpo and Curtis Jones.
I think at this point it would be difficult in terms of Liverpool just don't have the options to sell. I think there's interest, there has been interest for the last few months in someone like Federico Chiesa as well, but you can't let any more players go because Liverpool don't have enough options at the moment. I think in an ideal world it'd be Barcola and one more coming in, and even then, if that happened, I'd still keep Cody Gakpo for that depth. So I think it's a tricky one. If an absolutely enormous offer came in from Tottenham, and Tottenham have done that already this summer with other players, maybe there's a conversation to be had, but it does feel a little bit to me like, not just with him, but with one or two others as well, the time maybe for that to happen would have been a few weeks ago. At this point, it just feels like they've left themselves with a lot to do. If you start entertaining the fact that maybe Cody Gakpo could go or maybe somebody else could leave, it's just one other thing to put onto that to-do list.
And just quickly as well on Curtis Jones, because there was a couple of clips of him, I think, with Szoboszlai, and he was looking quite irate after a pre-season game with Wrexham. They were then filmed in training, all mates again, etc. But there's been a couple of links with him potentially going to Inter Milan, and how likely could that be?
Yeah, I mean, I'd say that's probably more likely than the Cody Gakpo one, just because we know there is long-standing interest there. Again, it would be tricky, I think, for Liverpool to let him go. I mean, they wouldn't do that anyway unless Inter were to up their offer. They've come in a couple of times this summer and not got anywhere near what Liverpool want, which I don't think is unrealistic. But yeah, there has been a couple of suggestions and signs maybe that Curtis Jones isn't 100% happy where he is, maybe wants a bigger role. His contract expires next summer, so there's even a conversation to be had around that if he does stay. is there a condition there that Liverpool can extend that contract? But it's difficult, I think, to guarantee him a place in the team if Andoni Iraola is going to have a couple of players in front of his defence. I think at the moment, Ryan Gravenberch and Dominic Szoboszlai would be the obvious two. They've both signed long-term contracts in the last few months. There's Alexis McAllister there as well. And Trey Naoni has been absolutely sensational during pre-season. I think he is definitely a player to watch out for in the next few months from a Liverpool perspective, a really, really exciting young talent. So Liverpool do have options in there. There is definitely interest there from Inter Milan. I'm sure there's probably interest to a certain degree from Curtis Jones in going there for a variety of reasons. But in a similar position, I think, to Cody Gakpo, it would be an unnecessary risk for Liverpool to sanction an exit at this point unless they can get somebody else in. And as I keep saying, the clock is ticking on that. Not obviously towards the September the 1st deadline. There's still a little bit of time, but ideally you want all of these things wrapped up by the time Liverpool play Newcastle.
So it might potentially rest on whether they get Barcola done, Joel, but Cody Gakpo potentially linked with Spurs. Do you feel that would be a decent signing from Tottenham to get him over the line?
I'll be honest with you, I think Spurs' business has been sensational so far. I don't like to mention it because for obvious reasons, but
Yeah.
I think with a manager like De Zerbi, someone like Gakpo, we've seen what he does on the international stage. I mean, he looks like he could be world class when you see him play for the Netherlands. It's true. But yeah, I think that would be a fantastic signing, especially if you consider what they're doing on that left-hand side. Him, Jed Spence, could be a problem.
That's a good point. Yeah, I think Liverpool fans might look at him and think he was quite inconsistent. I think there was a time under Arne Slot where they felt he was potentially being picked a bit too much. But you're right, had a decent World Cup, 7 Premier League goals last season too. So could be part of that new look Tottenham. Yeah. Bradley Barcola would be exciting, wouldn't he? As if he turns
I
up.
think he's wicked, but you hear what? I think Gakpo's a better finisher than Barcola.
Do you?
100%. Like, I think as much as, Gakpo, yeah, he has chances and he, maybe the rate isn't that great, but Barcola in front of goal, man, there's question marks for sure. I've seen it. I've seen him play in the, Champions League final games, etc. against Inter. You're thinking, are you going to put one in the back of the net? I think that's the only thing that's missing with Bradley's game. Electrifying pace, really good on the ball. He's great. He looks good, techie. 100 mil though, no chance.
Yeah. With Liverpool too, we had a quick chat with Matt about this a bit earlier on, but when you look at that defensive line too, at the moment there's only one senior centre-back fit. That's Virgil van Dijk. You've got the likes of Jeremy Jacquet, the new signing, who's out. Leone is out. Konate's obviously left the club too. So that is looking like a bit of a concern. Gomez is injured. So what do they do in this situation? They surely need to bring in some reinforcements. But when you've got that many in your squad and they're just out injured, that is a tricky situation.
You saw my video against Semenyo, mate. Bring in Joel Beya. Bring in Joel Beya.
Getting rinsed by Semenyo every week.
No, but if I'm honest, they need to figure something out really quickly. It's worrying, isn't it? Because you're talking about a team that were Premier League champions, the season before last, and they don't even have a defence. What's going on? Like, surely the board have looked at it and gone...
You could look at the mistakes really of last summer, couldn't you? All of that outlay. They ended up buying Isak and Ekitike, which Isak had an awful season. He cost 125 odd million. Ekitike, I felt, had a better season. He's now out with a long-term injury too. But did they just get their priorities wrong? When you think about the fact they also brought in Florian Wirtz. I know they brought in the 2 fullbacks, but you're right. They're now left in a situation where you've also got an ageing Van Dijk. By the way, he's the only one fit, but he's also not quite the player that he was, and potentially they haven't invested in the way that they should have been.
I think hindsight is a beautiful thing. So it's you can sit there and go, oh, they've got it wrong because they spent all that money and Isak got injured. No one foresaw that coming. No one. And on top of that, there's probably a bit of jealousy in you there, speaking because they nicked your player. Probably both your players, if I'm honest, because Ekitike was supposed to go Newcastle as well. But I think when Isak is available in the market, the prime Isak that we saw at Newcastle, you have to go for it.
Yeah, Will Asula scored more goals than him last season, by the way. Just Just thought I'd put that in there.
Arsenal won the Premier League. What's that got to do with anything?
Just thought I'd put that in there, man.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
Cool.
Just speaking of former Liverpool players, actually, Jordan Henderson is another confirmed signing for Chelsea. I just think this is sensible. It brings a lot of leadership. Look, I don't think he's going to get many minutes. I don't think he's going to be brought in necessarily for his footballing.
I've got a question.
Ability.
Who's paying all these players to say these things about Jordan Henderson?
What, in terms of how much they big him up?
I've never seen a better PR team than Jordan Henderson's PR team.
He's just a great bloke, clearly, though, isn't he? He's like, you hear Jude Bellingham talk about him and Morgan Rogers when they were in the England camp saying how influential he is, how he sets the standards in training. Let's be honest, that is what Chelsea need, Joel. That is what they need at the moment.
I'm not saying they don't.
It's a crash.
I'm not saying they don't. I just want to know who his PR team are.
What, for yourself?
For myself. I could be the next Simon Jordan if I've got his PR team. Can you imagine? Unbelievable. Like, obviously, you're right. Did you say it's a crash?
Yeah, it is a crash. They were signing players under 24.
That is crazy. No, do you know, it's not just a crash because of the age bracket, but just everything about it, innit?
Yeah.
Like, it just looks like chaos, innit?
Yeah.
Who's coming in, who's going out. There's no real stability. Hopefully,
even if you look at their discipline though, last season, the amount of red cards, etc. Like you can understand why Xabi Alonso's coming in and bringing in a character like Henderson and a player and a character like Danny Welbeck too, can't you?
How many red cards did they get last season?
I think 9. I might be wrong. I think around 9.
They don't pay you to think, mate. They need the facts.
Yeah, no, they pay me to do PR for Henderson, mate. That's what I get paid for, mate.
No, I'm joking. I mean, look, Chelsea in general, it's not. You can see that they've got all the potential and all the the tools there, but definitely there needs to be a link between the manager and the player.
Yeah.
And I think those players. Reece James can't do it all. So I think really good moves there.
Yeah, absolutely. Joel, thank you very much indeed. This has been Transfer Insiders on talkSPORT. Don't forget you can catch Transfer Insiders as a podcast on the talkSPORT daily feed, which is available on the talkSPORT app or wherever you get your podcasts. Transfer Insiders returns tomorrow from 7 p.m. Joel, been an absolute pleasure, mate.
You too,
Thank you so much.
It's been emotional.
Oh, mate, it's been great fun. We've loved having you on. Business Beya. You're going to be texting me all the tips.
I will.
And I'm looking forward to the new players that are going to absolutely rinse you on your YouTube channel.
Mate, hopefully they reply.
All right. Yeah, well, maybe not hopefully for you, mate, given how it went against Semenyo. Mate, absolute pleasure. Right, don't go anywhere. Up next here on talkSPORT, it's the Sports Bar with Majestic and Carlton Cole, 03717 223344.
It's interesting, this situation with Vinicius Junior, because there were some reports at the weekend that he'd agreed personal terms with Arsenal. Rock Nation, who represent the Real Madrid star, have released a statement hitting out fake news. They said Rock Nation Sports International and our entire team cannot stand idle when unprofessional and uninformed media publish fake and damaging information for attention-seeking purposes. This is especially unacceptable when it personally targets our clients without any foundation. It's disruptive, harmful and libelous, they say. Media outlets and journalists need to hold themselves more accountable. Now, if Vinicius Junior was that keen on a move to Arsenal, would his agency really have gone so strong in the statement?
No, I think. Look, they've been playing the game, haven't they? Let's be honest. I think